And we are live. Baruch Hashem, Thursday night. We are streaming live from the SoulWords studios. People are writing, because I'm a little bit late, a few minutes late. People are writing in the chat. Hope his sushi didn't come late. Yeah, that was last week. My sushi came late. I needed time to consume my sushi. No, my sushi did not come late. I'm just really tired. I'm not feeling well. And actually, that reminds me, I'm going to take some Advil right now because I'm aching. And really, really busy day. Past few days have been even more hectic than usual. I'm running my fundraising campaign. I'm not going to be coy about this. I'm going to say it very, very bluntly. I need you to donate money. Okay, I only do the fundraising campaign once a year. Charity.com/RST. Hold on a second. There's a link for the call-in show team. I want to make this more fun. So hold on a second. Don't give just yet. Charity.com/RST/ I think it's call. Yeah, is that the team? Yeah, call. That's the call-in show team. We need money, okay? Like, you guys think it just happens by itself. Baruch Hashem, we reach millions of people a month. And I make it look really easy and fun and casual and laid back. But the reality is that there's a whole team behind this. There's a lot of overhead just to continue to push out content like we do. And yeah, we need your help. We're raising $400,000 for our operating expenses for the year. We have matchers, Baruch Hashem, so everything is doubled. The collar needs fixing. Thank you, Bigsby Tremolo 9588. Oh my gosh, the collar is a disaster. You know what? I feel so supported by you, the virtual SoulWords community, because I've told you in the past, I haven't actually probably mentioned it in a few months, but I've said in the past vociferously, if my collar is ever poking out while I'm on camera, that I hate that. It makes me feel very, I have a lot of shame associated with collar poking out. And that if it's ever poking out, I'm asking you to specifically point it out to me. And you did that. And I think one time my collar was poking out and I overcompensated by talking about Vegas Elvis jumpsuit with the pointing out collar. But I really, I think there's a few reasons why I get traumatized when my collar's pointing out. First of all, I don't listen, I'm not like super into like looking highly groomed. Like, I don't think I'm slovenly in my appearance, but like, look, I'm Gen X. When I was your age, I don't know how old you are, but there was a term. They were called metrosexuals, straight men who were very into like fashion and grooming. And I haven't hered that term in a long time. But so I'm not one of those guys, the Rambam says that a Talmid Chacham is not allowed to go out with a stain on his shirt. So, I make sure to keep my clothes clean and take them to the dry cleaner. And, once, probably every few months, I'll take my shoes to get polished. I'm not like super into like, always being extra polished, right? But the one thing is when the collar's pointing out, to me, the collar pointing out that's really bad. That is, I'll tell you, collar pointing out is on the level of, and this doesn't happen to me anymore, and I'm going to explain to you why it doesn't happen to me anymore. The back part of your tie extending out underneath the front part of your tie. You see like this? Okay, that's awful. That does not happen to me anymore, and I'll tell you why. Used to happen to me quite a bit because I used to wear normal size ties, and they are not long enough for me because I have a 20-inch neck. I could show you the tag in my shirt sometime. I wear a 20-inch neck. My shirts are 20, 34, 35. That means 20-inch neck, 34-35 sleeve. 20-inch neck shirts fit me like a pup tent. You know, I'm not like the most svelte guy, and yet even for me, when I order the 20-inch neck shirts, the body is like a tent on me. It looks like a moo-moo. So what I do is I buy these shirts. There's a particular brand of shirt that I buy because the sleeves unbutton pretty wide, which when I put on tefillin every day and I have to roll up my sleeve up past my biceps, I need it to open up wide enough to like get it over the hump of the biceps up to my shoulder, because you have to put the tefillin on the biceps. So there's a certain brand of shirt, and I'm not going to say the name of the brand because, frankly, I'm getting kind of tired of all this product placement, and I'm not really getting any sponsorship from it. I'll plug Dr. Brown's because they have no social media presence. Probably a bunch of old guys, probably a bunch of, I wouldn't even say boomers, probably like silent generation guys running Dr. Brown. So I'll shout them out without any expectation of reciprocity. But I'm not going to shout out the shirt brand that I wear. At any rate, what I do is I buy them online usually, size 20 neck, 34-35 sleeve, and then I tailor them. And I can say, isn't that expensive? Yeah, it is expensive. It costs $30 per shirt to tailor. But here's what I want to tell you. I buy this shirt for $35. I tailor it for $30. That's $65 per shirt, but it fits me nicely. It looks like a $150 shirt. That's what your friend Shais Taub does. And that's how I keep myself looking presentable. And that's why I really hate it when my collar pops out, because it feels like it undoes all of that. Now, why do my ties not have the bottom part or the back part creep out beneath the front part anymore? Because I wear extra long ties. I used to wear just regular ties. Probably the first 10 ties I wore in my life were just borrowed from my father. And then when I started buying my own ties, I would just buy regular ties. Then I realized I can't buy regular ties in the store. I have to buy extra long ties, 63-inch ties. There's an even bigger size, bigger than that. I don't need to go that big. That's excess for me, but I wear 63-inch ties. I have a number of these, just black silk ties, solid black silk ties, 63-inch. And because they're long enough, the tie is long enough, so it has enough length that the tie, the tip of the tie can go down to my belt buckle, while the back is, you understand, if the tie is too short, then the front and back become closer and closer together. Okay. At any rate, please donate money. I listen. We need a lot of money to run this thing. Okay, it's a big operation. There's salaries. There's overhead. There's the SoulWords house. Baruch Hashem, you're welcome to come visit us Sunday morning when we live stream Likutei Sichos at 10:30, or any of the other times we have events. The studios and the production costs. Yeah, so please help us out. Okay. Charity is with a D. Yeah, someone's asking, did I spell it wrong in the thing? Did I not put it in? Yeah, charity with a D. Mushkipotamus is asking, does he get his sushi from Nori Bar in Crown Heights? No, I don't live in Crown Heights. No. Mushkipotamus is saying, is it a typo in the hyperlink? The charity is spelled charity with a D. Yeah. If your name is Mushki, you have to know charity, like every Lubavitcher. If your name is Mushki and you're not a Lubavitcher, then you must be Sara Mushka, the fake AI Rabbitson. Have you guys seen that? Sara Mushka, the fake AI Rabbitson? She goes and talks about her life as a Satmar in Williamsburg, and her name's Mushka. It's this fake AI Rabbitson. I called her out the other day, and she had the chutzpah, to respond to me and say, Rabbi Taub, thank you for reaching out to me. I have someone in my community who needs to speak to you. You guys know about that? Oh, yeah. Gav Yisroel says, my dad uses that term all the time. Yeah, but you see, the problem is I don't know what term you're talking about because you wrote this 10 minutes ago. So I'm going to assume the term was slovenly. Why? I don't know. That's like a term that a dad would use to a son. Like, come on, tuck in your shirt. You look slovenly. But you can tell me if that was the word. Mushkipotamus says, I am a Chabadnik. So how could you not know charity? Every Lubavitcher knows charity. Bpaz 78. How can I contact? Does one have to convert to be part of the Jewish people? Well, you don't have to convert to be part of the Jewish people if you were born as a Jewish person. But you don't have to become a Jewish person to watch the Thursday night call-in show. See, wouldn't that be awful if some guy went through the whole trouble of converting and then they asked him, why, by the way, why did you convert? And he's like, so that I would be allowed to watch the Thursday night call-in show. Oh, man, you didn't know? Everyone can watch the Thursday night call-in show. What? That would be awful. Okay, I got questions here from Chords of Gratitude 2073 about X chromosomes. I don't know this stuff. If both my parents were mixed Jewish and Christian and women inherit only the X chromosome from each parent, does that make female children Jewish or non-Jewish? My head is swimming. I don't know. It doesn't matter about both your parents being mixed. Is your mother, so you're saying your mother has mixed heritage, is your mother's mother Jewish? That's really the only thing that matters as far as determining Jewish identity. Was your mother's mother Jewish? Do you know my King 1026 says, I'm making that kugel recipe. Well, thank you for mentioning that. I released another cooking show episode today. It was a Yerushalmi kugel recipe. But I'm just going to go take a peek on charity and just see if anybody donated. 1 second. No, nobody's donating. What's going on, guys? Come on. Nothing. I don't see anything since 7:58 p.m. Guys, come on. You can donate small amounts, but you gotta get involved. It'd be better for you. Okay. What else? There's no donors yet from the Thursday night call-in show. Guys, go ahead, just go in and give $5. Do something. Come on. Be part of it. Don't be just bystanders. You are the best rabbi. I'm Yisroel Chai. That's from Steve Kramer, 6573. Okay. The Gaming Legion 8686. Good evening, Rabbi Shais. Would you be able to explain the importance of Enoch, who then became Matat? Okay. So I just want you to know something. First of all, don't say Enoch. Don't say Enoch. Please don't say Enoch. Say Chanoich. Okay? His name is Chanoich. That's how to pronounce it. Like, I don't even want to say like a Jewish person. Like any person who reads the Bible in Hebrew, or at least knows the names. Okay? So don't say Enoch. Say Chanoich. Okay? Yes, Chanoich did become the angel Matat. Now, you notice I'm not saying the full name. Why? Because angels are powerful entities. Wait, hold on a second. Yes, hello?
Are you able to call in, please?
Yeah, but I thought the first call, isn't for a while.
Maybe we can discuss this there if you'd like.
Yeah, okay, I'll call in. Yisroel wants me to call in. I didn't call in yet. Anyways, angels are powerful entities. Excuse me, I'm going to explain Chanoich and Matat while I'm calling into the call-in show. So, angels are very powerful, lofty entities. We don't say their names. Oh my gosh. There's like 20 texts here. Yisroel saying, I just hear annoying music. Please call. Call into the call-in show. Call into the call-in show. I'm calling in the number right now. Call into the call-in show.
Please enter the conference PIN number.
Call into the call-in show.
Hi.
Hold on a second. I got to use the Bluetooth to go to my roadcaster. Call into the call-in show. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. Hi, Yisroel.
Hi, how are you?
Baruch Hashem, why was there such a delay just now?
A delay with what?
I notice a lot when I'm speaking to you and other callers, there's a delay between my speaking and their speaking.
I'm not sure.
Let's go like this.
Maybe it's the Bluetooth or the Rode. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
going to
If
count.
you want me to explain why?
I know you don't want to hear the whole music. I'm going to count, to 4. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and on the same beat that I say 3, I want you to say 4. Okay.
Okay.
That was a huge delay. It's kind of annoying. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
4.
That was way delayed. That was like a second and a half.
Okay, so listen up, everybody. Listen up here. Listen up. Oh, first of all, we got our first donation on the Thursday Night Call-In Show team page on charity.com/RST/call. So thank you very much to our first donor on the team page. It's an effective $72 donation by Kaya Mushka. For grateful for your kindness and wisdom and humor. Love that. Okay, so I was going to tell everyone that we have a team page for the Thursday Night Call-In Show called The Call-In Show. And we so far have one donor, and we're going to see how many donors we can get tonight on the Thursday Night Call-In Show team page, charity.com/RST/call.
Anonymous gift.
Like I said.
Anonymous wrote a dedication. Call into the call-in show. Like 10 O's and 5
Call into
W's.
the Call-In Show.
Okay, and that was from Anonymous.
Now, I want to say this. It's not a competition, but it is a competition. Let's see which team can get the most donations, which can get to their goal first, and let's have fun with it. So if everyone could go donate any amount, let's Thursday Night Call-In Show. Let's go.
Yeah, amazing. Now, some people were complaining on the YouTube comments about the audio levels on the call. So can you just keep talking, Yisroel, for a second?
Yes, I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep talking about the charity campaign because it was actually really, really inspiring because this Sunday we were doing Look at this Share live, and we mentioned on the share that we don't have any donors yet and someone could be the lucky first donor. And then throughout the week, we got 18 individual donors on the Look at this team page with a total of $2,584 in donations, which is really, really awesome. That from Sunday afternoon at like probably 11:30, 12 o'clock, till Thursday evening at 9:30 p.m., we got 18 donors, which is really special. So I want to see, just using that same metric, if Thursday night at 9:30 p.m., we have 2 donors, 92 effective dollars. I just want to see by maybe Wednesday or Tuesday how many donors we have. It's just kind of interesting to see how many people listen to the Look at this Share, how many people listen to the Thursday Night Call-In Show, how many people, want to take part in what we do and help support that. And it's really, really inspiring to see. And yeah, that's really cool.
Okay, Yisroel, I changed around. Basically, I lowered the Bluetooth channel because I think it breaks up because it's super compressed because it comes through the phone system. So I lowered that volume so it wouldn't sound so garbagey. And then I boosted the main volume. Okay. So I need the people who are listening at home to tell me, just listen right now to me and Yisroel. Okay. I need you to answer 2 questions. One is no, not you, Yisroel, the people at home. I
know. I'm just talking so people can get a feel of the volume.
Okay. So is the volume in general loud enough? Not loud enough. Is it good? Is it strong? Is it loud? And then also, are me and Yisroel equal volumes. So I'm just going to show you, okay? I'm going to say it like this. Call into the call-in show. How you?
Call into the call-in show.
Call into the call-in show.
Call into the call-in show.
It's kind of like Run DMC, you know, the back and forth. Now, Peter,
Yeah.
pick peppers.
Oh, we got another donation. We got a third donor on the Thursday night call-in show. This is awesome.
Mushki Potamus says it's so fun to donate. What'd you say?
It is pretty awesome. It is pretty fun.
Yeah.
I was saying we got a third donation. A third
donation.
Okay, I have a question for you. I have a dilemma, Rabbi Taub.
Yeah.
Rabbi Taub, I have a dilemma.
What's your dilemma?
I want to donate to SoulWords.org because I think that what you do is pretty amazing, and I
Thank
actually
you.
feel very honored
Thank
and
you.
humbled to be a part of it.
Thank
Now,
you.
my dilemma is as follows. I personally feel connected to a lot of the different teams. Some of them I'm not really connected to. For example, the 5 pounds for the
Wait, hold on. I wanted to stop a second because I could have potentially offended somebody. The Gaming Legion 8686 says, thank you for answering my question. Also, I'm sorry I spelled it wrong. I'm still learning Hebrew. You didn't spell it wrong, my friend. You didn't spell it wrong. Enoch is the way that, okay, biblical names are proper nouns. In my personal opinion, no name should ever be changed into an exonym. You know what I'm talking about? Like, all right. For instance, Nueva York is how they say New York in Spanish. I don't think they should do that. But by the same token, I don't think we should say Mexico City. Okay? I think you should use, that's how we get these stupid names like Peking, which was actually Beijing, or Bombay, which was actually Mumbai. Like, don't use exonyms. Don't pronounce a proper name of a place or a person in a way that that person didn't pronounce it. So, for instance, Abraham. What's Abraham? I don't even like it. It has the word ham in it. The word is Avraham, the name, Avraham. Okay? Now, this is the way that these names in the Bible were anglicized. That means not even translated, the way they were rendered according to, a lot of it, by the way, comes from German orthography, which is why you get the Yud gets turned into a J, you know, so the Yankiv becomes Jacob, Yosef is Joseph, all that silliness. Because in German orthography, the J is a Y sound. Enoch is the anglicized spelling. So you didn't do anything wrong, Chords of Gratitude 2073. No, I'm sorry, Gaming Legion, the Gaming Legion 8686. You didn't do anything wrong. You did actually the same thing that Wikipedia does and everyone does. I'm just saying that on the Thursday night call-in show, we're a little more savvy than that. And we don't say Enoch. We say Chanoich. We don't say Abraham. We say Avraham. We don't say Moses. We say Moshe, because we're savvy like that. Okay. So Mushkapotamus is saying the general volume is very low. I had to double my volume level, so hold on a second. All right. 2, you and Yisroel's volume is close, but Yisroel is lower. Okay, Mushkapotamus. I raised the general volume quite a bit just now, and I raised Yisroel's volume slightly. So, Yisroel, can we do a sound check? Okay. Microphone check.
Sound
1,
check,
2.
check.
What is this? Go ahead. Microphone check.
Microphone check. 1, 2. What is this?
Very good.
Okay, so I was asking a question before.
Mushkapotamus, how is the sound right
more.
now? How's the sound, Mushkapotamus?
Yeah, Mushkapotamus.
Mushkapotamus.
Let us know. Yeah. Also, so I was asking a question. I feel really connected and honored and humbled to be able to be a part of a lot of these things. My question is, if I want to donate, how could I donate to multiple teams? Is that even possible? And then I saw, as I was thinking about that question, Deanie actually made a donation. She made her donation, thank you, first of all, to the Lakotei Sichos team page.
Okay.
But she wrote in her comment, thank you for the weekly Lakotei Sichos here and the great call-in show.
Oh, wow.
See that? So I wonder, like, first of all, Deanie, how did you decide which team to join? Because, I mean, maybe do you listen to Look What This Little Share more often? Do you enjoy it more? There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just curious. And then what do I do? Or what does other people do?
Okay, so in Chicago, see, I'm from Chicago. We have a statement. It goes, vote early, vote often. It's a joke about corruption, political corruption in Chicago. They used to say, vote early, vote often. But I say the same thing, is that why Mushkipotamus is rolling on the floor laughing, but what are you rolling on the floor laughing about? The volumes are equal, but generally lower than regular other channels, which is no problem. I'll keep my volume higher. No, Mushkipotamus, I don't want you to have to keep your volume higher. I want it to sound normal. Okay, so that's why I'm asking you for feedback. Okay, so I'm going to boost the general. Okay, I just boosted the main volume even more, but I don't want to get to a point of like distortion or anything. Okay? All right.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So let's
vote early, vote often.
Vote early, vote often. Go ahead, Yisroel. Vote early, vote often.
Okay, so I'm guessing what you're going to say is you could vote early, so donate early, and vote often. You could donate to a couple teams.
You can vote. You can donate to multiple teams. You can donate as many times as you want. You can keep.
Okay, but now I was doing a little bit of research, and charity.com actually makes it really, really, really easy to donate. Like very minimal information, just your name, your dedication, your credit card info, and that's awesome. But now I'm seeing, if you look into it, you could actually choose multiple teams and split your donation. There's either you can choose how much to each team, or you can just split it equally. So they do have that option. Actually, it's kind of hidden though on the thing. They ask, I would like to donate to the following individuals or team, optional. So you select one team, and then on the bottom underneath it says add team. You can select another team to add to, which is pretty cool. So that helps me out. So that's pretty cool.
Excellent. Okay, so Mushkipotamus or anybody else who wants to comment, how are the sound levels now? Mushkipotamus says, laughing at saying Mushkipotamus. What should I call you? Your username on YouTube is Mushkipotamus. If you didn't want to stick with that name, you can go back and change it. They say that shame is your original email address. You said, oh, what was your original email address? Like early childhood email address. See, I'm a Gen X guy, so I don't have one. My original email address is not a weird one, but you're Gen Z.
So, so my original email address.
Had to do
when
with
I was
Webkins.
getting my email, I was going to do Yisroel. Yeah, I don't even remember that one, but I'm saying like my first real email address.
Yeah.
Where I was like trying to take it seriously, you know. I wanted to do Yisroel Taub at gmail.com, right? But Yisroel Taub was taken
by some publisher.
So then I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure who. And by the way, apologies to Yisroel Taub at gmail.com, because I think I've actually like subscribed to different things with that email.
By the way,
Mushkipotamus, I know for sure that I subscribed.
Mushkipotamus says, do mitzvahs was my AOL address. Mushkipotamus just outed herself. She's not Gen Z. She's at least a millennial if she has an AOL address. Okay, go ahead.
So I actually know that I subscribed to SoulWords email with that, because I remember there being confusion with that. But that was not available, so I chose Taub at gmail.com, which is just the first three letters of my name and my last name. Yeah.
Yes.
And I always thought it was weird, but I didn't have much of an option.
Yeah. I had no choice then.
But I didn't have anything like learn Tyra at gmail.com, you know?
Yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing. We love that.
Let's test the mic volume, okay? Okay, because I have it pumped up. Okay. Like in my headphones, it sounds really loud. But if you're at home and listening...
you know you can turn down your headphone volume.
No, Yisroel, I'm using... Okay, I can't explain to you the whole workflow here, but basically the headphone output is the same output that YouTube is getting. It's the same audio audio track.
Okay.
So it feels so loud to me right now.
Okay, but you can also individually turn down the headphone volume, meaning the output will still be the YouTube output, but then the individual headphone output will.
Yeah, where? Is there now?
Like the A10 has that feature. If you look on the top, on the A10 on the top left, you'll see they're on the black thing of the ATEM, there's like, it's written headphones, and then you'll see an up and down arrow. It's towards the top left of the ATEM, and you can turn the headphones down, meaning the output to YouTube is the same, stays high. No, not on the headphones themselves, on the ATEM.
On the ATEM or on the Roadcaster? You don't even know the difference.
Where's your
I'm
headphones
so sorry to
plugged
tell you
into?
something. Do you know the difference between the ATEM and the Roadcaster?
Yes, I do. One's the sound mixer, one is the stream
Mixer.
stream module.
Yeah.
Okay. Where is your headphones plugged into, the Rodecaster or the ATEM?
The Roadcaster.
Okay, fine. So then, yeah, you can't change the volume.
I know
Meaning
that.
You can. Okay, but I'm just saying, maybe I could help you out when I come to the studio next.
No, I don't want
We
you to
can
touch
instead
anything.
change your headphones to be plugged into the ATEM.
Mushkipotamus says, I'm a
Okay, fine.
boomer. I just turned 66. Oh, my goodness. That's
Mazel
why.
tov.
That's why you don't know charity. Okay, so if you were Gen X like me, you'd be sick of charity because every single friend of yours would have already had a charity campaign. But if you're a boomer, you may have been spared of that. Oh, yeah. Okay, Mushkipotamus. So you're a 66-year-old mature adult, and I'm calling you Mushkipotamus. That is funny because honestly, I thought you were probably like. This is what I imagined with the name Mushkipotamus. It is funny. I thought maybe you were like 21 and you'd made up that name when you were 15. That's what I thought. Now I realize I'm speaking to a mature adult who should be addressed with a more respectful term than Mushkipotamus. But there's nothing I can do. I can't help it. Your name is Mushkipotamus, so we're going to have to just stick with that. The Gaming
Maybe
Legion.
Mushkipotamus could explain the origin of the username.
She probably likes hippopotamuses. She probably likes Hungry Hippo game where the hippos eat the marbles.
Right. So maybe, yeah. No. At any rate,
the Gaming Legion 8686, who asked me about Chanoich, is also asking, could you explain how significant the story of Pardes is to Orthodox Judaism, the one with Rabbi Akiva and the other three men? It is extremely significant to, I don't want to say Orthodox Judaism, to Judaism. It's a story in the Talmud about four sages who entered a alternate state of consciousness, a higher level of consciousness, and only Rabbi Akiva was able to emerge safely. One of them went mad, the other one died, and the other one became a heretic. It's an important story. We can talk about it maybe some other time, but the upshot of it is that when you have a heightened experience, spiritual experience, you have to prepare for it by intending to bring back the lessons to your day-to-day life. And if you're not prepared to do that, and you lack integration of the experience, then it can have disastrous effects. Okay.
all right. So it is now 9:45 p.m. Eastern Time Zone. I'd like to make one PSA before we get to the first caller.
Yeah.
If you donate on the charity.com/RST/call page, your donation will be doubled. So thank you very much for the donations in YouTube. If you do it in the charity, it'll be doubled. So that's, as Mushkipotamus says, double the fun.
Mushkipotamus, are the sound levels good now? It doesn't have to be Mushkipotamus. It could be anyone else, but it could be everyone. How are the sound levels now? Because for me, it sounds crazy loud. I'm not used to it being this loud. Feedback?
Okay, we'll start the first caller and get feedback in the chat meanwhile. So
Okay.
welcome, Bracha, to the Thursday Night Call-In Show. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much.
Bracha.
All right.
Hi.
What's going on?
So, should I restate my question or?
Yeah, because
Because I've sent. Okay.
I know, but you know what that was? That was just to make sure that you're not crazy or a troll. So I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really read it, and certainly none of the listeners have any idea what it says there. So congratulations. According to our vetting system, you are neither crazy nor a troll. Yeah, but start from scratch.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So I'll ask my question first, and then if you need more details, of course, I'll share more. So The question is how to know the difference between suffering, basically, that you bring upon yourself versus that's preordained and that would have happened to you anyway. And the reason why that's significant to me personally is because if this is something that I did to myself, then in turn I should be able to do something to stop it or prevent it or change the situation. So, I question a lot of decisions that I make, and I always wonder, when something is particularly difficult, how do I know if I should keep pushing through it and, just keep going even though it's hard versus take this as a message from Hashem to stop, stop doing this thing. I put all these obstacles in your way, so do something different, and I'm happy to share in what context specifically I'm thinking about it, but I think it extends to many different areas.
Yeah. So, this is a classic question of, hashgacha pratis and bechira chavshus, and I'll translate those Hebrew words, but hashgacha pratis means divine providence, that Hashem orchestrates everything in its most minute detail, and then there's something called bechira chavshus, which is free will, that we're given complete moral free will to choose good or bad without being compelled one way or another. I appreciate the fact that you're saying that you're not asking this question academically, just as a random stump the rabbi.
Right.
Right. You're asking it obviously because you are concerned that perhaps some choices that you may have made in your life caused, let's say it like this, that from the moment you made certain choices, it led you down a certain path. That path has entailed suffering, right? It's caused you problems. And you question how much of this suffering was predetermined. I would have had it anyway. And how much of it did I bring upon myself because I made poor choices?
Exactly.
Okay. Can I tell you something?
Sure.
I've had that question myself. I think every thoughtful person has asked that question. So it's a very common question, and I'm glad that you gave me the opportunity to talk about it. Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm going to speak to you like a chassid, but I'm going to also translate things into English, okay? Because I try to be true to the source material and authentic and unfiltered, but I also try to be accessible to everyone. So I'm going to try to straddle both worlds. By the way, Mishkapotamus is saying, I usually have my TV volume at 14-ish, and it's at 39 and still low? If appropriate, can you speak about your Soul Survivors group? I was thinking about joining. Okay, yeah, I'll get back to the Soul Survivors group in a minute. You have it at 30.
By the way, before, I think the caller volume should be raised. I think I just speak a little bit louder than some of our callers. So in general, the caller volume should be raised because I see also the game, who is it? Some other user, I can't see now, asked for the sound louder for them. I think the caller volume. So let's raise the caller volume back up. I'll speak a little bit quieter. And yeah.
Okay, I just raised the main volume a drop, and I raised the caller volume a drop. I lowered my volume. In my mind, this is excruciatingly loud. Yisroel, maybe could you go into another room and play the YouTube on? Google Center 613 says I agree with you.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Your volume.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, hold on a second. Gosh. This is crazy. Oh my gosh, this is crazy loud. I can't take it. It's hurting my ears. I can't do it this loud. It's crazy. I raised my volume just now. It's hurting my ears. This is what people want?
Okay, yeah, I just went into another room. It may be lower than other programs, but yeah, you can just bump up your volume a little bit more. I don't think, I think as long as the caller volume is raised just a little bit, then the main volume is good.
Very Holiday 8998. You're being trolled. People claiming your volume is low is a trolling tactic. Your volume is fine. Mushkipotamus says, now it's loud. Gula Center 613. This is good. What is Goldilocks over here? What's going on? Okay.
I think how it was before, like last week was good. We didn't get complaints unless it is really just trolls. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so this is painful for me to listen to it this loud. Hold on a second. I can't take this. I can't tolerate this. I'm dropping everything down. Dropping it. Okay. All right. So the question is about how much does free will cause our path to diverge from what could have been. And here's what I want to tell you. The simple answer is like this. Even though there's free will, and even though we have to be exceedingly careful with our choices, and we're held accountable for our choices, and all of that is true. At the end of the day, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that happens in our lives that is not the will of God. Even when God's plan has to rely on free choice being misused, meaning by us making bad or wrong choices, that too is accounted for and part of his detailed plan. I would recommend to you a couple of sichas from the Rebbe. One is Parshas Lech Lecha in Chelik Hey, Volume 5 of Likutei Sichos, Parshas Lech Lecha, which speaks about how everything in life is part of the path that God has set forth for us, even the what we call descents. When we go through trouble, when we go through trials and tribulations, that's all part of progress. Everything is progress. Everything is forward motion. Although over there, it's more talking about the things that happen to us. Then there's another sikha I would highly recommend, which is Chelik Yud Ches, volume 18 of Likutei Sichos, Parshas Maseh. And over there, it speaks about this even more in terms of the intersection of free will with predetermination. And that even when we make poor choices, he basically asks a question about, we know that the Jewish people were meant to enter the promised land fairly soon after leaving Egypt. And that the entire 40-year thing was actually something that didn't have to happen. It was a response to the sin of the spies who were afraid of entering the land, and they spoke libel about the land. So then the whole question is like, is the whole story of the 40 years basically plan B? Because if they would have been ready to enter, they would have skipped that whole thing. Okay, so the short version is that nothing you do is going to interrupt God's plan. God knows exactly what move you're going to make, and that's also incorporated into his plan. So you cannot mess up your life. You can't.
The question is,
yeah.
Like once something already happened, it's easier to look back and say, that was part of his plan, and learn to accept that, that as much as you made decisions, it would still happen to you some way or another, but
not some way or another. Not some way or another. That way. Don't see, this is what you're thinking. That if you chose something stupid and you got your I don't know, someone said, hey, you want a piece of gum? And you pulled the piece of gum and it was a mousetrap. Remember that prank we used to have? I don't know, I'm Gen X. We used to have these pranks. It looked like a fake gum pack, and you pull it and it would be like a little spring trap pop on your finger. Mm-hmm. Remember those? No?
Something like that.
Okay. Anyways, So you're thinking, if I didn't take the prank gum, then God would have found another way to pop my finger. And what I'm telling you is, no, that's not the way to look at it. No, it's that there was no way you were ever going to not take the gum. You know what?
Then if you find yourself,
Do you know 3-card Monty? I'm going to take some Advil right now. I'm got a little bit of aches and pains. Do you know what 3-card Monty is?
no.
You know the shell game?
No.
I don't know if they really have it anymore. I think maybe the Bunko Squad cleaned it up. But you used to have, when you go to Manhattan, you have the con men out on the street corners. They'd have little folding tables, and they would play either 3-card Monty or the shell game. The shell game is 3 half-shell walnut shells and a pea, a little dry pea. They roll the pea around, and they hide it under one of the 3 shells, and they scramble it up. Then you have to track which shell the pea is under. And 3-card Monty is they have 3 cards, playing cards, from like a deck of cards, and you have to follow. I think the queen you're supposed to follow. I don't remember, but the same principle, that there are 3 choices, and they move it around, and you have to track it, and then you have to choose, and that's the game. It's a pretty simple game. Okay, so are you, now that I'm describing it, do you vaguely remember ever seeing such a thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me explain something to you. That's an absolute scam. It is not a fair bet. It's not random. These guys are street magicians who are scamming you, and they are using prestidigitation, sleight of hand, to mislead you. They know exactly how to misdirect your eyes and make you think you know exactly where the P is or where the queen is, but they are using their knowledge of the human mind to exactly mislead you to the option that they want you to choose. Now, why do I talk about this? Because imagine, so how they do the scam is they hustle you. At first, they play it normal. They don't do any of the sleight of hand. And it's pretty easy to track it if you're actually watching. And they let you win. It's the odds are you're going to win. If they're playing fair and you're watching, you're going to win. So they let you in, and then they say, okay, let's double down. And then they start with the prestidigitation, and then that's how they get you. Now, you shouldn't gamble at all, especially not on the street. But if I were to say to you, did you lose that bet fair and square? Well, you might say,
No.
you might protest and say, no, it wasn't fair. They misled me. And I would say back to you, but where in the rules, so to speak, does it state that they have to make it easy for you? You thought it was easy. Well, apparently it wasn't as easy as you thought. But you made a bet and you lost the bet. You just didn't realize how hard it is. Like when you go to the carnival and you spend all your tickets trying to knock down the milk bottles with the ball because it looks so easy, then you realize it's not so easy. You misjudged the difficulty. Okay, my point is, why am I saying all this silliness? Because in a certain way, the way that God runs the world is somewhat similar to the 3-card Monty game, in that you are exercising free will. Like, from your perspective, no one's forcing you. No one's standing over your shoulder and saying, pick that one. You're free to pick whatever you wish. It's just that you're playing with someone who knows how your brain works and is skilled enough to exactly orchestrate the options in such a way where he knows what you're going to pick. Now, he knows what you're picking, but he's not forcing you to pick. You have free will. He's not standing over you and forcing you to pick something you don't want to pick. You want to pick, but he knows how to create a situation that is going to basically make it 100% predictable that this is what you're going to pick. So getting back to our discussion, you're saying if I would have been smarter and I wouldn't have made that dumb choice, I wouldn't have saved myself any suffering because God would have found another way to put me through the same turmoil. And what I'm saying is that is not correct, because then you're basically saying that some aspects of your life are free choice to the extent where it derails your life from, even in the details, it derails your life from God's plan. And then but it also, the way you're saying is, but eventually, there's like it comes back to the default setting, and you're not going to ever get too far away from the story that God had planned for you. What I'm saying is, no, that's incorrect. Like literally every single detail, down to the most minute detail, down to the buzzing of subatomic particles, like down to the minutia, to the infinitesimal. Everything is exactly calculated, meticulously orchestrated. And yes, you have free will, and therefore you're accountable for your choices. And yet, nothing you do, even on the most microscopic level, causes your life to diverge for even one moment from the story that God already had prepared for you. So let's put it very simple. You were always going to make the choices that you made. You were never going to learn the lesson till you did. Looking back, you said, well, now hindsight is 2020. Precisely.
Right.
You know what you know now. And it couldn't have been any other way. So you can stop. You can, I'll put it this way. You know how it's like futile to resent other people and to say, oh, you ruined my life. From the day I met you, I ruined the day I met you because, you messed up everything. And from that day, I went off on the wrong path. Okay. And eventually you got to give up all your resentments and realize that human beings don't have that power. Okay. What I want to tell you is the next level is to realize even you don't have that power. Even you can't mess up your own life. Now, you can cause yourself a lot of pain, but that doesn't mean you messed it up. Meaning, if that pain was part of your life, then it was part of your life. And it was a necessary part of your story.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
I think I have to really absorb everything that you're saying to like really, let go of, I don't know, maybe it's gaiva to think that you have that power, but to let go of the guilt that I have about, choices that I made. Maybe, like you're saying, hindsight is 2020. Now I know. Couldn't have known then. But the question then becomes, so let's say all that happened, and now where I am right now, looking back and seeing how things went, and now I'm at a crossroads. So how do I know? Well, you could say it two ways. You could say either, God or, put you in this time and place because he wants you there, so stay there. Even if it's hard, just keep on going and hopefully things will get better. Or you say no, like God is telling you to get out. Like, how do you know if you should keep going for something when it's hard or walk away?
Okay. So now we're shifting to a completely different question. And okay. I'm going to belabor this point, even though it might seem unnecessary. We're talking about a completely different subject now. What is completely different? Now we're talking about the present. The present isn't kind of like the past, except it's happening now. It's completely different. It's categorically different. The past is God's plan revealed. Meaning, if it happened, then apparently that was the plan. The present doesn't have the plan revealed. The plan will unfold no matter what, but we don't know what that's going to be. So we have to make the best possible choice we can now, just like you didn't know everything then, whenever you made your life-changing, quote-unquote, life-changing choice 10 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever it was. You didn't know everything then that you know now. So, too, you don't know everything now that you're going to know after you learn the lessons that will come from
Right.
today's choice.
Right.
So when it comes to the way we look at the past, it was all exactly God's will. It was part of a necessary process unfolding exactly as it was meant to. Even the things that rely upon human free will, even the things that rely upon the misuse of human free will, meaning people making bad choices. Let me just say it bluntly, immoral choices, going against God's will. Even that's God's will, paradoxically. Doesn't mean that it's permissible, doesn't mean people won't be punished for it. It just means that that was part of the story. Okay. But
So how would I know?
How would you know? You don't know. You only know in retrospect. You only know looking back. But the good news is whatever you choose will be what you are supposed to choose today. And if you don't like what you chose today, you get another chance tomorrow. And sometimes when you're not sure what to choose today, it's because you're really not there yet. But maybe tomorrow you will be. In other words, I'm going to read a little bit into your question. Sounds like you made a life-changing choice many years ago that feels like it caused you a lot of extra pain that you feel like maybe you could have avoided. And now you're wondering if it's time to make new choices to remove yourself from that painful situation. It sounds like what you're basically saying.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I'm saying. First of all, you did not cause yourself any extra suffering. That was all the classroom that you were sitting in. You signed up for that course. That's the course that you were meant to take. So there was no mistake. Now, could be that you've already taken the final and received your final grade, and you graduated and you don't know it yet. Could be. But here's the thing. The nature of life's tests are that part of the lesson is opening the report card, reading the teacher's notes, thinking back on the time you spent in the classroom, processing it, integrating it, and then registering for a new course. What I mean to say is sometimes you finish the actual coursework, but until you have integrated it to the point where it's clear to you that you're finished, you're still not really finished. You did all the lessons, but you clearly, if you're not able to say this chapter is over, then there's still processing going on. There may not be new information, like all the information you needed. All the information that you needed to draw a conclusion, you probably had ample evidence years ago. So it's not like you need new lessons or new information, but you may need more time for integration. And if you're not feeling that there's clarity at the moment, it could be because you need more time to get that clarity. And that's okay. And so if today's choice doesn't feel obvious, tomorrow there will be a new opportunity for choice.
I always wish that I could just ask God straight and he'd tell me yes or no. I hate having to feel like it's my responsibility, and I don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. God created you. Wow, there's feedback there. God created you precisely so that you would have these experiences. If he were to, imagine you were to send an angel to stand behind your shoulder and say to you, choose that card The queen is under that card. So then maybe you won the game, so to speak, but you didn't learn the lesson. You didn't have the experience. And if that were really all it's about, then the whole thing seems pretty cruel. You mean we can just cheat on these tests and it counts the same? So I didn't have to go through all of this? That sounds awful.
By the way, if I could add, I remember when I was younger, when we used to play games, like if I would see like a way where I can like snatch an extra $500 from the Monopoly money, or, you know, like basically like cheat in order to win. And I thought like I was so cool. I have the title of always winning all the games. And I was like so proud of myself. And then eventually I got to a point where I'm like, I never won a game. Like I never actually won. Like everyone thinks I won. I successfully cheated and won. But I don't, now looking back, I don't feel like I won any of these games. I just manipulated things in order to have the title of winning. And then I started having like, oh wow, like I'm not a winner. I didn't win. So yeah, you may, it's like the cheating way out. Like, yeah, you know, and it's like you were saying, like that one's the queen. But does it really feel like winning? Does it really feel like that's your purpose? Does it really feel like you accomplished something?
Yeah, Yisroel, it's like this guy I know who made up a fake backstory, and he plagiarized a bunch of academic papers, and he became a professor at Oxford, and then it was revealed that he was a scammer. You heard about that?
Right. No, I don't.
It's the big thing in the news right now. This guy from England, he made this weird backstory that he was mute until he was 9 years old, and he was illiterate until he was 19. And then somehow all of a sudden he learned how to read. And then he became a full professor at Oxford in his 30s. The whole thing was a scam. The whole thing was a scam. And then he got exposed and he killed himself. This just happened this week. This happened this week. I said, when I heard about it, by the way, I said, first of all, the man has a family. He has children. I think it's pretty cowardly and selfish for him to take himself out because he was facing public humiliation. But what I was saying, even just, you know, from a cynical standpoint, he could have easily had a second act where basically you did like the Catch Me If You Can type thing, you know, like that con artist who wrote a whole book about how he conned everyone. He would have, and he wouldn't have even lost. People who respected him wouldn't even lose respect for him. He could have just said, that's right, I scammed the system. I'm the Robin Hood of academic dishonesty. I tricked Oxford into thinking I'm a legitimate academic. And then he could have had a second act, and it probably would have even been more lucrative than the first one. At any rate, why am I talking about this? Because you have to actually live through the experience in order for it to count. And if God were to reveal to you the answer, then what would have been the point of going through the whole thing to begin with? That's what I was saying.
Right.
You have to
Yeah.
go through it. You have to you have to integrate it. You have to process it. You have to learn your lesson. And if you're not clear yet what choice there is to make today, or you're not feeling, even if you have, you know, there's two things. There's clarity, which is cognitive. There's courage, which is emotional. Maybe even cognitively, you know the option you have to make, but it's just not, you're just not feeling it, right? Okay. So then apparently you're not done.
Right. So you're basically saying, you know, that if you're not sure about something, then sometimes with time it becomes clear.
Yeah, and I'm also saying that this time is precious. I want to tell you something. People who are watching right now or watching the replay, and some of them are going through stuff. Kind of people who gravitate toward my content, the algorithm knows they're people who have interesting lives. So it's a high statistic probability there's people listening or watching right now who are going through stuff. And maybe not just an acute phase, but something that's prolonged, something that's been going on for years or decades. And they're really, really just The pain is so pervasive to the point of numbness. And they're sitting there being like, when's this over? When is this over? When am I finally going to just say I'm ready to say enough of this? There's a lot of people. I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm saying there's many people going through situations like this. And my answer is, you'll know when you're ready. And my biggest piece of advice to you is, please don't waste the moments that remain between now and that moment of clarity. You're not just biding time, twiddling your thumbs, waiting for clarity to come in. Please live the fullest possible life you can live now, even before that clarity comes in. And by full living, I mean experiences, interacting with people, going places, showing up, having real life experiences. Don't just like numb out and doom scroll and sleep and, I don't know, self-medicate and distract yourself, or all the things that we do when life is so painful that we're just like, can we just fast forward this already? If I could just take a sleeping pill that would wake me up in a year from now, I would do it. No, don't do that. This is precious time. Because if your clarity is a week from now, God knows exactly what he's doing. And there's a week worth of experiences that are integral to your journey that you're going to miss out on if you're just trying to fast forward to the moment of clarity.
It's interesting because it's resonating with me on a lot of different levels. And then I don't know how many questions I could ask. I don't want to take more time. So tell me if I could ask.
Yeah, go ahead.
On this. Yeah. So, one of the things that I've been struggling with is I had 2 HD pregnancies. I don't know how familiar you are with, what that entails, but very traumatizing. And it's the epitome of, waiting for something to be over. And when you're so, so, so sick and there's nothing else that you can do or appreciate or experience in your life, literally life is about just waiting for this child to be born and trying to survive emotionally, physically, every level.
Wow.
I don't know if you could speak to that, a little bit.
What is this condition, this kind of pregnancy?
It's called, for short, HG, hyperemesis gravidarum.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, 9 months of vomiting every 5 minutes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Hospitalizations,
Yeah.
It's grueling and destructive, like physically and emotionally, for the
How many
people going
times
through it, for the family members.
did you have that every time?
I did it twice. I have 2 children. I had it both times, and I want another child so badly, but I'm terrified to do it again and to have that experience all over again. And that's the only way. It's like telling you, there's a treasure on the other side of a fire. So you have to go through the fire in order to get it. Like,
right.
Would you do it?
Even if you want to do it, it's sometimes impossible to force yourself. Yeah.
It's what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the first
raise your
time.
hand if you want to.
Yeah.
The first time I didn't know. The second time I thought maybe it wouldn't happen again. And now I know the statistics are pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
And, raise your hand if you want to be on a feeding tube and be in a hospital for 9 months. It's the
That's
most
what it is.
horrific, experience.
You're basically.
For me, because my body really, started, I had an 8-pound baby and weighed 96 pounds when I gave birth. It was dangerous, it was scary.
Yeah.
And it's something I want so badly, but I know I have to go through that. And a part of me, literally, like you said, just wants to take a pill and wake me up when it's over.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't even know what a perspective is, going into something like that, how to make such a decision.
I wonder if your unique experience, I mean, it's not unique, you're not the only one ever had that experience, but your rare experience of having this type of intense pregnancy, if somehow that gave you some wisdom that is particularly useful in your present dilemma? Like if you had to get up and give the TED Talk, you know, what I learned from HG, that's what it's called, right? HG?
Yeah.
Like HG Wells? Like the time machine? Okay, whatever, don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So imagine you had to give a TED Talk. What I learned from HG pregnancy so you don't have to. You would get up there and you'd say, here's what I learned. I don't wish this on my worst enemy. Here's the 3 things that I learned I could never have learned any other way.
Mm-hmm.
Just spit it out. Don't think too much.
I think number one is you realize that there's nobody in the entire world that could help you besides Hashem.
Wow.
So nobody, not one person, as much as they want to. And the people will literally stand around helplessly, wishing they could do anything in the whole world to make you feel better, and they can't do anything. And the only one that could help is God. That's number one.
But people who haven't come to that lesson the way you did may even think that's something of a black pill. They may think that's cynical, that's doom and gloom. I don't think that's how you mean it, but I think you need to explain that. Some people might think that sounds like a curse.
I think that sounds like a blessing, you know,
I
because
do
you
too.
have him with you all the time. He's the only one that's really there with you, you know. Anybody else,
Wow.
you know, it's not like you could have other people and they could be amazing and you know, you could cherish them and of course I do. You know,
People are great, but they can't help you.
Oh,
they're wonderful and they're
God.
beautiful,
Like,
and they can't help you. And so basically what you're saying is there's a special degree of closeness with God that can only be experienced when it is crystal clear that he's the only one who can help you.
Absolutely. Yes.
You're not dependent on anyone or anything but God.
Yeah.
Okay, that's huge.
And I guess
That's a huge lesson.
I guess something that's closely related to that would be that I think it took a tremendous amount of pain and suffering to force me to turn to him. You know, because when things are going well, it's like I don't need to come on to him on that level because, you know, things are okay, or I have other people I can, you know, that can help me. And it forced me to isolate from every other human being and recognize that it was just like, it's just me and him. Like there's nobody else in the whole, like, I don't know if I would have been able to turn to him in that way had I not been forced to.
Lesson 1 is a special kind of closeness with God that you can achieve when you realize no one and nothing can help you but him. Lesson 2 is that lesson 1 can only be learned through exceptional suffering, or at least in your experience, you could not have come to that recognition without the degree of suffering. Okay.
Right.
You want to go for a lesson 3?
Let me think. Yeah. I mean, something that helped get me through it was a perspective that helped me was thinking to myself, so obviously I was meant to be sick because nothing happened by mistake.
Right.
So I was meant to be sick, so I'm going to try to be grateful that at least there'll be a baby at the end. Some people are sick and then they don't have a prize.
Right.
You know, and they don't know that it will be over.
Right.
So at least I know it was meant to happen, and thank you, Hashem, for
You're
giving
saying
me
there are other
in this way.
There are other situations in life where a person suffers and they don't know what it was all about. At least you know what you're doing this for.
And a person who, you know, God forbid, has cancer, you know, they don't know when it'll be over, if they'll get better. They don't get a reward at the end. you know? So my biggest fear was that the baby won't make it, you know, and then it'll all be for nothing. Even though I guess it won't really be for nothing because Hashem doing it for a reason.
But it would have been exceptionally
you know,
difficult.
That perspective,
Yeah. So what's the lesson there? The lesson is it's easier to get through a hardship when you know what's at the end waiting for you?
I think a broader lesson maybe would be that sometimes a perspective or a certain level of understanding surrounding your suffering can make it more bearable.
Like Viktor Frankl, logotherapy, quotes Nietzsche, says, a man can endure any how if he has a why.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so lesson one. Welcome to my TED Talk. This is about HG pregnancy. I don't wish it on my worst enemy. 3 lessons I learned so you don't have to. If you'll take my word. Lesson 1 is there's a unique kind of closeness with Hashem that one gains when your only dependency is on Him. Nothing and no one help you but Him, and that is a profoundly special level of closeness. Lesson 2 is, personally, I would never have been able to reach that level without going through profound suffering, the precise degree of profound suffering that I went through. And lesson 3 is that suffering, as well as all other suffering, becomes bearable when it's framed within a sense of purpose.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So thank you for teaching us those 3 lessons. I want to now I want to go back to your current dilemma about feeling not ready to, or not knowing if you're feeling ready to change a situation that has been causing you pain. So let's...
And this happens to be part of my dilemma also, in terms of, you know, you decide to go even around pregnancy, right? Because that's on my mind a lot. It's like, I want to do it. I know it's going to come along with all this pain, you know? So if I was meant to have more pain, even if I wouldn't do a pregnancy, right, God would make me sick some other way. I would suffer some other way, you know? But it feels like I'm choosing this. You know, how do I know if I should choose something that I know is really, really hard?
Right. So you have this question, what should I choose? How do I know what to choose? And what I'm saying to you is, instead of asking that question, what I would like you to do is think of your current dilemma in terms of the 3 big lessons that you know from your HG pregnancies, meaning to say, you were already given the answer to your current question. I want to emphasize 2 words in that sentence. You were given, and you were already given, meaning the person who has the answer is you, and it was given already before you would even need the answer. So I don't have the answer, but you do, and you've had it long before you even had your current dilemma or became aware of your current dilemma. So let's use the 3 big lessons that you know to try to approach how to deal with what you're going through now. There's a special degree of closeness that comes when your dependency is only on God. That level of dependency on God and closeness with God is really, in your personal experience, only possible through suffering. And 3, suffering is more bearable when there's a purpose. Now, if I could just add a little bit of commentary there, I feel like number 2 and 3 are related, because you're saying that number 2 was that the exact degree of suffering that you went through was what was necessary to get you to the level of number 1. And that's the answer to number 3, which is, why did you go through that exact degree of suffering? So it's almost like backwards, like 3, 2, 1. Like, you're able to go through it knowing that there's a purpose. That's 3. What was the purpose? Number 2 is the exact degree of suffering to bring you to a certain state. What is that certain state? That's number 1, a unique level of closeness with God. I wonder if that applies to your current situation.
In some ways, but then again, you know, is the goal to isolate yourself to the point where it's just you and God, or just do things in a more quote unquote normal way where it doesn't have to be so extreme that it's
nothing's normal. Normal is a performance that people use to comfort themselves. At the end of the day, there's Bishvili Nivra Ha'olam. The world was created for my sake. There's nothing in reality but me and God. The only thing that I'm here to do is to get closer to God. That's it. And I don't say that to the exclusion of all the other people in the world, because their experience is just as legitimate as mine. And from their perspective, there's nothing in their world but them and God. So no, this is not about trying to figure out how to live a more normal life. It's about getting closer to God. Now,
whichever path takes you closer to Him, so whichever path takes you closer to God, even if that one is so much more intense.
But you already told me that you learned the lesson that the intense path is what brings you close to God. That you wouldn't have gotten.
But it doesn't make it less.
Doesn't make it less intense. It doesn't make it less painful. No, you're right. It makes the pain more bearable. Doesn't make the pain less painful. It makes the pain more bearable.
Right. Just about. You know, like with pregnancy, you know, you could have that perspective and it helps you survive it. It doesn't help you live your life. It helps you survive.
Yeah, well,
and then you get a baby, hopefully, you know, but.
Yeah, but I want to tell you something. You always get a baby. When you go through hell, you always get a baby at the end. And if you
think so?
Always. Some people leave their baby at the hospital. When you go through hell, I'm saying metaphorically, when you go through hell, there's always a baby at the end. Now, here's something to remember. The baby doesn't come until the baby comes. So some people are screaming 6-7 months into their pregnancy. I'm saying this metaphorically. So all the midwits out there, please understand I'm speaking in parables now. A person could be 6-7 months into this HG pregnancy screaming, oh my God, it's all for naught. This is nothing. I'm being tortured for no reason. Okay. But like after 9 months, you have your baby. It's a little bit different. Okay. So some people, you meet them in the middle of, and I'm not judging. I'm saying sometimes people go through hell for years or even decades. And if you meet them in the middle of that process, they will speak to you. I mean, if they're honest and they're vulnerable, they may express to you feelings of, this is all for nothing. I'm just being tortured. God is cruel. And then if you'll meet them 5 years later after they've come to their resolution, then they'll sing a different tune because they had their baby. By the baby, I mean they had this level of clarity that they couldn't have had one day earlier than they did.
Craziest thing is that, you know, for a long time, because I was so traumatized, I didn't even consider it because I was so terrified. And then I got sick with something else that I believe was the result of the pregnancy and how shot my whole system was.
Yeah.
But at any rate, now it makes me question, maybe I was only sick because had I been pregnant, I wouldn't have been sick. I did this to my, you know, it's like, maybe by saying I'm not going to do this torturous thing again, I'll just he'll find another way to torture me if I'm supposed to be tortured in that way.
Now, I already told you that it's not the correct way to think of it.
So I have to just believe that, like, I still don't know. I have to believe that everything was exactly the way that he wanted it to be, 100%.
Yeah, That it was
And it's
all,
not because I did something or didn't do something.
it's all because that's the way he wanted it to be, and that he was relying on his knowledge of what you would choose, and he was planning around it, building around it, relying on you to do what he knew you would do. And also, God knows what you would choose at this age and what you would choose at a later age. So he's relying on his profile of you is completely up to date, up to the second.
Mm-hmm.
So you have
He's
any?
also relying that I'll have, I guess, like he's also relying, quote unquote, that I'll have whatever clarity I need to choose either way going forward with everything.
With everything, correct. This is a lesson that you could apply to everything in life.
So I just wait for that. Utilizing the time, but waiting for that.
Waiting for the clarity, but not waiting for your life. Meaning even the moments
Right.
pre-clarity are part of your life and meant to be
Right.
lived.
Do you have anything really quick that you could say just regarding when the times that you are waiting, when you can't live your life because you're just waiting for something to be over?
Yeah, those times basically are, it's from stress, it's from when you're going through an acutely painful situation and your body is just feeling like you're going to shut down and die. And you can't really think about hopes and dreams. You can't really think about the future. It's hard to even think about your ideals and your morals and your values. It's just like super animalistic survival. Like, let me just not die for the next 5 minutes, right? That's kind of like yeah. So it's this super survival mode that you go into. And that's what it's like. And your life is on hold because it's like you're just living like like an animal in some way. And
Right.
yeah. So the key is to try to relax, like physically relax, literally physically relax with your breathing. Let go of your muscles. Try to just, because a lot of times the God-given survival mechanism is telling you that your hair is on fire and you need to call 911. And the reality is your hair is not on fire and there's absolutely no emergency. Your life hurts because you're going through hell, but it's a protracted, prolonged hell, and there's no emergency. And you learn to relax your body and breathe while your nervous system is telling you that your hair is on fire, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to slow down and you start to become more present. You start to feel the chair that you're sitting in, feel the ground underneath your feet. Be aware of your setting and surroundings. And that's when you start to actually show up for your life. You start with very simple things, with just even, when you're in full panic mode, you can't even notice what's in the room around you. And you start to slow down, start to become more aware of what's going on around you. Then you start to become aware of other people around you. The highest level is when you become aware of other people's needs. And even though your life is really painful, you find space in your head and your heart to be helpful to others. That's called really fully living life.
Right.
Bracha, some of our viewers are emailing us with like resources and different things for to share with you. I don't want to insinuate that you don't know what these things are. So with your permission, could we send that stuff over to you?
You're talking about medical
thank you so
information
much.
about that kind of pregnancy?
Support groups, different
Okay, yeah, sure.
different things. And I also don't want to make it sound like that's why you called on, but some of the viewers have shared that. So
Okay, you'll
Yeah,
send it from
thank
the
you. I
SoulWords
appreciate it.
email. Just forward it to her.
we'll reply to your email chain.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, listen,
Thank you so much.
I hope tonight's
course.
discussion proves to be helpful. I wouldn't
Thank you.
expect.
It was very helpful.
Okay, thank you. I mean, don't expect things to be instantly clear, but sleep on it and continue living your life. And God willing, very soon things will be clear for you. At least the next step will be clear.
Amen. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so
I
much.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, be well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, Yisroel?
Okay, so before our next caller,
Yeah.
I just want to take a moment. First of all, thank you to our previous caller. Thank you for being vulnerable, opening up, and joining us on the Thursday Night Call-In Show. We really appreciate that. For all those that enjoy the vulnerability and the Call-In Show in general, I just want to take an opportunity to remind you guys that we're having our annual charity campaign. So if you go to charity.com/RST, if you want to donate to the Call-In Show team, you can do charity.com/RST/call. Join there. We already have 4 different donors on that team page from the past hour, so that's really awesome. Anything else before the next caller, Tati?
I'm hating the sound. It's really bothering me. And the previous caller was so deep and real, and I was focusing on her, and I didn't want to interrupt with complaining about the sound, but I was really distracted by the sound. I'm hating it.
Okay, so let's put it back how it was before.
I'm going to put it back partially.
Okay.
All right. Can we talk? I don't want to feel rushed for the next caller. Can we just talk a little bit for a couple minutes just to get comfortable with the sound levels?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So
Yeah.
1 second. I want to go like this. See, it cuts out. See, when I breathe, see, it cuts. Okay, 1 second.
Okay, while you're messing with it, if anyone donates now on the charity.com page on the Call-In Show team, you'll get a personal shout out, which is pretty cool. If you're joining in now, you can go and donate. If you're listening to the replay, we really, really appreciate your support, enabling us to do these amazing, in my opinion, live streams.
Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah.
See there, that's much better.
Beautiful.
Hold on a second. Okay.
Did you have a Tic Tac? I could smell the mint.
No, but I have mint gum in my car, which I chew all day when I'm driving around.
Maybe that's why you have a headache. You know that chewing gum makes headaches?
No. I brought it upon myself.
It does. Search it up.
Hold on. All right. Talk to me. Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm here.
Okay. How's the sound levels? I'm liking the sound level a lot better right now, personally, the way that I sound. How the sound?
Perfect.
Jive Turkey
You're comfortable.
1618. How's the sound level? By the way, you know they changed the setting on the chat because last week I only let people chat if they're members. You have to pay like $3 or something to be a member because it got better quality chat. Then I said, you know what? Let me take it off. I'll let anybody chat who wants to chat. And now I have some guy.
Someone wrote, "Oh, I don't need to pay to chat tonight. Yay!"
Yeah, but now I have this guy busting my chops. Instead of engaging me sincerely, he's trying to bust my chops. Zalman 9607. Shais thinks he knows more than he does, like he knows why suffering happens. Book of Eov would argue with that. Mister, first of all, disagree. You don't have to come with the ad hominems. You don't have to start trying to put me down. Come on. Like, we can argue like gentlemen over here. You can take exception with what you think my position is. But personally, you've mischaracterized my position because I don't know the reason for suffering. And when did I imply that I do? But I forgive you because I'm sure that you, like me and most of the people watching this show, have gone through suffering. And the topic of suffering is very triggering. And when we get triggered, sometimes we don't process things so clearly. But no, I never said I know the reason for suffering. No, I never said that, never implied it. I don't believe in it. There's no way that I would say such a thing. But I get why that it's a triggering topic, and especially if people who look like me, meaning rabbis with beards, have told you in the past that they know the reason for your suffering. I understand why you might think that I said I know the reason for people suffering, but no, I do not know the reason for people suffering. Yeah. Okay.
I just want to shout out a few donations that just came in. We got a donation from the other Gemini. Effective donations range of $60. Thank you. And he said, I think we did this last year too. You know the other Gemini, Tati?
Eliyahu. His name is Eliyahu.
And then we got another donation, $200 effective. Yeah, Eliyahu. Yeah. He's a regular on the Thursday Night Call-In show.
Yeah.
We got another donation effective $200. Thank you so much for the call and all other shiurim. Thank you for your donation. And then we got another donation effective $2 by Anonymous. And the note says, we need a call-in show jingle. I think we have one, no?
The call-in show jingle? Yeah, call into the call-in show.
Call into the call-in show.
Hold on a second.
Call into the call-in show.
So, 1 second. The other Gemini donated to call-in show team, $180 effective $360.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I got it. All right. Then we had an anonymous 100 effective $200. And then we had another anonymous $1 effective $2 saying we need a call-in show jingle. But we have a call-in show jingle.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. Is there another caller
Maybe they're
waiting?
new to the call-in show family. So,
yeah.
yes, there is. There's another caller waiting.
Okay.
All right. Let's have the next caller on.
All right, let's
Welcome, Avram, to the... I think... Welcome to the call-in show.
Okay. Hello.
Hold on, Wise. Yeah, there you go. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for your time.
Yes. Okay. What's going on?
I was curious about how to decide about when situations are hopeless versus when they're not. For example, Moshe Rabbeinu by the Chet Egel davened for the people, but by Korach, he said, nope, you're out of here.
Okay.
In my marriage, we've always had some sort of shalom bias issue, and I couldn't understand what it was. I kept trying more and differently and davening indirectly and indirectly, and obviously I made a lot of mistakes, but the issue seemed to be way out of proportion to the mistakes that I was making, and I couldn't really understand it until somebody gave me a book called Stop Walking on Eggshells about borderline personality disorder, and a lot of things resonated there.
Okay.
Also, your lecture on Yaakov and Lavan, when Yaakov left Lavan and Lavan chased after him and said, what did I do wrong? Yaakov says, are you kidding me? What did I do wrong? You did this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, he said the only thing Yaakov could do is he built a getter.
Mm-hmm.
So in some cases, the proper response is to try harder and do more and find more ways into daven. In other cases, the proper response is to build a wall and and not and have to know that the situation will never change. So, what are some guidelines that somebody can use to figure out when a situation has hope and you should try harder versus when there's no hope and you got to call it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So you started off with Moshe Rabbeinu and with the Egel and Kerach. And honestly, I could go and try to analyze those stories, but I'm feeling like it's a little bit off topic as far as the actual situation that's in front of you. In other words, we could discuss it. It's a little bit of a red herring to me because at the end of the day, in either case, Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't trying to make people change. He was talking to Hashem. So we can't change people. We don't change people. I say like this. I say this in general. You're talking about. Okay, so I just want to clarify. I've told this. I say this over and over again. And I can't say it enough because no matter how many times I say it, people don't hear it. I don't read. I never. I shouldn't say I never read a psychology book because when I was a kid and a teenager, my father, Allah Shalom, who was a psychologist, he had psychology books around the house. I did read some of them, but people think that I'm all up to date on the lingo. I'm not. I only learn these things from conversation. So you mentioned walking on eggshells or stop walking on eggshells. I never read the book, but I know it's the famous book about BPD. Not to be confused with BDP, which, okay, whatever. It's a reference for my Thursday night call-in show, Fishing and Autos. At any rate, okay, so borderline personality disorder. The point is, I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not getting into these diagnostic terms, BPD and all that stuff. The point is that I say this as general advice. There are certain issues. They're called personality disorders. Again, I'm not using diagnostic terms. I don't want to use clinical terms. It's not my place. But there are certain issues that are much less likely to change than others. So what I'm about to say applies in all situations, but certainly in situations where you're dealing with a condition that is unlikely to change. My statement is as follows. You're allowed to hope. You're allowed to pray. You're allowed to have a positive attitude. You're allowed to even believe in miracles. But your plans in life should be based on the assumption that the situation is not changing. Does that help? Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. In this particular case, it feels a little bit disingenuous. If I'm making plans that it won't change, then the only way it can really change if I put all my heart and soul into it.
No, God can surprise you with a miracle. And in fact, you can even say, look, God, I'm making elaborate plans, which I'm completely ready for you to destroy my plans by creating a miracle for me. But in the meantime, the plans I make are going to be made on the present facts. So
that makes a lot of sense.
It's a little bit of a paradox, a little bit difficult, but once you can flip that switch, it's a little bit like patting your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time. But once you start doing it, you realize they're two separate things. So I believe in God, and I believe God can do anything, and he's unlimited, and therefore I'm not going to worry, and whatever he chooses is going to be good, so I'm for sure not going to worry. And at the same time, my plans have to be based on a certain baseline assumption, and that is going to be based on the established facts over the history of this situation. There's an expression, when people tell you who they are, believe them. And I think, I don't want to get super personal about your situation, but, even from the tiny bit of information you shared with me, one of the things that may resonate with you is sort of the feeling of like gaslighting yourself. Like, here's this message that I've been given in 100 different ways that this is how things are going to go. And instead of accepting that that's the reality, why do I keep gaslighting myself to believe that it's not going to be that way? Like, at the very least, let me just take precautions to brace myself for it going the same way it's gone for the past 1,000 times. And yet, no, I'm going to gaslight myself to walk blindly into a situation which I know sooner or later is going to revert to the default, which has been demonstrated by thousands of experiences. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
That also makes a lot of, that resonates very strongly.
And here's what I want you to know. That the fact that you gaslight yourself is because you are a good person and you believe in people's goodness and you believe in people's capacity to change. And so you don't want to condemn anyone. You don't want to say that they're beyond repair. But what I want to tell you is there's another way of looking at this. It's not like the choice is either to be a believer or to be a cynic. Because I know you. You're not a cynic. You're a believer. You believe in people. There's another option. And the third option is just to be humble. And humble means to accept reality. I'm not condemning anyone. Everyone is wonderful. Everyone is, and I certainly don't judge people. I don't know what they've been through. If I would go through the same thing, I'd probably deal with it even worse. So no judgment here, no resentment even. But I can't delude myself. I need to be humble enough to say that reality is reality. It doesn't bar the possibility of a miracle happening in the future, but reality is reality. Another thing is that when you accept reality as it is, you may find that you're able to come up with tools for dealing with that reality. Whereas when you delude yourself into believing that reality is not reality, you don't really develop those tools because why should you? How could you? You're not really dealing with the facts as they are, so you're not really learning how to do anything about it. You're just the only tool you're using is the self-delusion tool. But when you stop the self-delusion, you may actually find that even if the situation doesn't get any better, you get better at dealing with it.
Right. I guess I would go back to Avram and when he was told to send away Hagar and Ishmael. One approach could have been, okay, so Ishmael is a bad influence, so get better at dealing with it. Teach Yitzchak how to deal with difficult people.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you know when the lesson is how to deal with people and when the lesson is to move on? That's very similar to what the previous caller was talking about. How do you know when the lesson is to move on? And I would tell you the same.
I definitely believe Hashem wants me to be in this situation. The question I'm asking myself is, what does Hashem want me to learn from this situation?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a fair question. In other words, that's probably the only fruitful question. Like, to ask yourself, how much longer am I supposed to be in this situation? I don't know. You'd have to be a prophet. And like I told the previous caller, you don't know until you know. So that's not really a fruitful question. You know, how long am I supposed to be in this situation? But what is a fruitful question to ask is like, what am I still learning? Because I mean, I'm here, at least for today, at least for this moment. If I'm still here, I must still be learning. And it may not be, like I told the previous call, it may not be that there are new facts coming in. It may be that the data has all come in and you've had thousands of experiences that confirm what you know. But you haven't fully integrated the data. You haven't really made it part of your worldview. You haven't learned like the big lessons, the life lessons. Life is a classroom, and it prepares us for more life. That's where we're always matriculating. We're going to higher levels, more and more advanced levels of learning. So I think that's a very fruitful question, which is like, what do you know that, like I said to the previous caller about her pregnancies that were difficult, like you wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy, but what do you know that you only know because you went through that? And I would say the same thing to you. It's like, what do you know about life? And what do you know about yourself? And what do you know about people? And what do you know about faith that you only learned by dealing with this type of situation? And you don't have to answer them. If you have an answer, you can share it with us. But that's the kind of thing that you should be reflecting on.
I've certainly grown from the experience.
You want to share an insight that you have? It doesn't have to be super, super specific. It could be just a general kind of sentiment
There's
about
something. There's a footnote in the art scroll when Eliezer is speaking to Rivka's family. He says, "Blessed is Hashem who has not without kindness and truth." And the art scroll comment there reads, "Perceptively, Eliezer speaks of kindness and truth because it is important for the two to come together. Kindness alone can be harmful because it can cause one to give in to the wishes of the ones he loves, even in cases where it is wrong. Therefore, truth must regulate kindness to prevent it from going astray." And cite Rav Shimshon Raphael Hirsch. And I remember when I read this 20 years ago, I said to myself, "Rav Hirsch, did you know me when you read that? When you wrote that?" Obviously not. He'd been dead for over 100 years. But somehow that's exactly what I needed to hear. And I think that's the lesson I'm still integrating into myself, is to regulate the kindness with reality and with truth.
If I can just clarify, there's kindness and there's truth, and one of the two comes more naturally to you.
That's correct.
The kindness one.
That's correct.
And interesting, it's not saying kindness and severity. There's chesed and gvura. It's not even saying that. It's chesed and emes. It's not even like learn how to be tough. No, just learn how to be realistic. Learn how to be honest.
This goes back to the self-gaslighting that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. And, like we were talking about with the previous caller, that if you're not even really going through an experience, then it doesn't really have value. I was speaking about that in regards to like sort of fast forwarding through life when it's painful. So I would say a similar thing is like, if you have to delude yourself about reality in order to be kind, is it even really kindness? It's almost like, it's not just like you have to have kindness and truth, but like literally kindness is only true kindness when there is also truth. How can you call it kindness if there's not truth? Something else.
There's a joke. A friend of mine told me that before you should go into marriage with two eyes open. Once you get married, close one eye.
Mm-hmm.
There's some level of forgiveness and understanding and compassion, and perhaps I'm going too far in in that direction.
I want to just read something from the comments from Mushkipotamus. She has a funny name, but she's a wise woman. Withdrawal from an unworthy, unchangeable, harmful situation doesn't stop the other person from changing or prevent a miracle from saving them. It just stops them or the situation from hurting you. And I would qualify that withdrawal is not a all or nothing proposition. There are degrees of withdrawal. Sometimes withdrawal just means lowering your expectations. Doesn't really mean you're changing what you're doing. It just means you're letting go of outcomes, which is probably anyway a good idea. Listen, it's not easy.
There's also a little bit of selfishness stuck to me if I'm focusing on myself, because how important am I? I'm here to give and to take care of others.
Right.
And it doesn't come naturally to me to make myself a priority when, as responsible adults, we're always conditioned to look at others and take care of others.
Yeah, well, like you were saying before, between kindness and truth, one of the two comes way more naturally to you, and that is the kindness. So what I'm saying to you is this: sometimes that when we're doing something almost like instinctively, almost like it's almost like an animal does what it needs to do to survive. There's nothing thoughtful about it. It's self-preservation. And it's like, your go-to response when there's strife is, let me throw some kindness at this and see what happens. And what I'm saying is, there are other tools, such as truth, and we need to learn all the different tools. And perhaps you can say that you're in a situation right now which evidently has given you an opportunity to learn new tools than what comes natural to you.
Definitely. And I guess my vote now is to integrate those tools into my thoughts and actions.
Yeah. Keep your soft heart. Don't become a cynic. Keep your heart soft. Don't develop a callous. Even though you've been hurt, remain a soft, gentle, kind person, but also learn truthfulness. Even when
Thank you.
truth feels unbearable, it can't really hurt you. It's just the truth.
I'll keep that with me. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you for calling. All right.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for calling.
Okay.
How are you?
Still annoyed by the sound levels. I was messing with it while I was talking to that caller. It was another amazing caller. We get really.
I'm very amazing. By the way, I just want to mention again. Yeah, it's very great callers.
Very
vulnerable,
call in
really deep,
are such serious, sincere, real people. Yeah.
Amazing calls. Amazing calls. Okay, while you adjust the mic, I know I'm probably being annoying, but I just want to shout out the charity campaign again, charity.com.
No, it's not annoying. Please, we need the money.
And just for fun. Okay. And by the way, Tati, I sent you in WhatsApp a picture you can put up on the screen, a nice
Yeah.
picture that our design team created.
Hold
if
on
you
a
want to
second.
try to get
One
that
second.
up, I'm gonna take the lib. Yeah.
Wait, 1 second. Before you take the liberty, I just wanted
Yeah.
I want you to say in your normal talking voice, 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Do it again.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, I think you're good. I think I'm good. Okay, I think our levels are good.
Okay.
1 second.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So first of all, everyone go to the charity.com page, charity with a D.com /RST /call. Give your donations to the Thursday Night Call-In Show team if you love the Thursday Night Call-In Show. And I'm going to treat you guys all to a little bit of stats about the Thursday Night Call-In Show. Actually, should we make this into a game?
Yeah.
You can either write on the YouTube chat or you can send a donation with it in the description of the donation. You can guess what number call-in show this is. We have all the stats right here. We have how many callers we had, what number show this is. So if you can guess, I guess you could also look on YouTube, probably a fast way to do it. But if you can guess what show number is tonight's show, that would be pretty cool. And while I'm going to give a few minutes for people to guess that because there's a bit of a delay, just a tidbit about the amount of callers we had on the call-in show, which is pretty neat. And maybe that'll actually help you try to figure out how many shows we had if you can try to make. We have like sometimes 2 callers, sometimes 3, sometimes 5. Or you could try to do the math a little bit. But we actually had 87 callers, which is pretty wild.
That is wild.
On the Thursday Night Call-In Show. And our first show,
Yeah.
do you remember when our first show is? When it was?
Yeah, it was.
When was it?
It was Chalamite Sukkos. It was.
That's right.
It was
2024.
It was the first anniversary of October 7th.
That's right. It was. Yeah, it was 2024. Chalamite Sukkos. So since then, basically almost 2 years now. In 2 months, it's going to be 2 years of the Thursday Night Call-In Show.
Shout out to
That's
Moshe
gonna be-
Zalik.
We had 87
That's his
callers so
idea.
far. Yeah, by the way, yes, thank you, Maishi, my brother-in-law, for the idea, getting it kicked off the ground. Thank you. I find that fascinating. We had, let's see, someone said send a donation with an amount. Let's see. Someone just sent a donation 17 minutes ago, anonymous, effective $26. Thank you for your donation. Yeah, but thank you, Maishi, my brother-in-law, for the getting the call-in show to really happen. It's really special. It's almost 2 years coming. So just 2 years. Amazing callers, amazing show. So thank you for that. Okay, I'm gonna announce the answer of how many shows we've had in 30 seconds. If you want to put in your answers.
How many shows we've had?
So you got the picture? Yeah.
No, I wasn't looking on the WhatsApp.
Yep. Okay, I sent you a thing to put on the screen if you'd like.
Okay.
The design team created it. It actually stayed up for us to be able to show it on the Thursday Night Call-In Show.
Okay, what am I
Okay,
supposed to do?
the amount of shows
Well, hold on a second.
on WhatsApp. There's a
Yisroel,
PNG.
what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
I clicked on it and it
You
took
put it
me-
on the screen?
No, it took me to Suno.
No. That's a different thing. That's Tribal sent that. That's a different thing. Not the Suno thing.
Screen overlays,
That's something else.
JPEG. Oh, okay, this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah, if you can show it on the screen.
All right, hold on. Talk about Officer Buckle while I save this.
You still have Officer Buckle saved on there?
No, I have the mastermind guy saved on there now.
Real Call-In Show regulars will know why we have Mastermind saved on our extra input for the Call-In Show.
Too much
Any
dead
guesses?
air.
Any guesses for how many shows we've had?
Where's people supposed to guess?
On YouTube, on charity.com, charity.com /RST. Anywhere that they put their guesses. You also probably go to the SoulWords YouTube page and see the playlists. It's a bit of a cheat, though. 2 seasons of the 13 Collins Show. Let's see. You know, I'm noticing now. No, never mind.
Too much dead air, Yisroel.
11, 12. Oh, it is accurate. My list is accurate. Okay. Any guesses? Any guesses? Going once? Any guesses? We don't have any guesses.
Nobody's guessing.
Charity.com/RST. By the way, you could still guess if you're watching the replay. You could still put in your guess. Oh, we just got another donation. Avram. Is that the Avram that was just on the call? I think it is. It says, thank you for your guidance and insight. Thank you, Avram, for the effective donation of $360. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it that you... I think this is Avram that was just on the call. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being vulnerable. Like we said, amazing callers. So thank you to our callers. Okay, I'm saying the amount of shows we've had.
Okay.
While you get the picture up.
Yeah.
So we've had 87 callers. In 2 months, it'll be exactly 2 years from when we started. And in the span of 2 years, we've had 30 individual call-in shows on Thursday night. Pretty amazing.
Who?
You got the picture?
I'm trying. It's not so easy. Not so easy.
Okay.
Remember last time it took me like a half an hour to get the picture up? Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
Okay, it's not so simple.
Yes, and then finally, yeah.
Like this time I can't even get it
Okay,
uploaded.
Okay, I'm gonna read some of the comments then. Let's see some comments. Let's go to the YouTube comments. There's a lot going on in the comments.
Okay, what's going on? People fighting?
People want to know why you can't just lower your headphone volume. No, people want to know why you can't lower your headphone volume. We spoke about that already. Gemini, please add the time code for when we spoke about the headphone volume. Let's see. There's a lot. Oh, someone's asking which parsha is the Sikha from Chelik Yud
I
Tes that you
said
mentioned for the
already.
first
I
caller.
said it.
Do you remember?
I said it. Do you remember what I said?
I don't.
Does anyone out there remember? Because I definitely said it. I said it from Chelik K. It's Parshas Lech Lecha. From Parshas Yud.
No, not the Chelik Hey. Oh yeah.
I
Okay.
said
Yeah.
from
So keep going. Yeah.
Chelik Hey. It's Parshas Lech Lecha. And from Chelik Yud Ches. It's Parshas
Yeah. Parshas?
Maseh.
I don't know.
Gemini. Did I say
Maseh.
Maseh? Gemini. Did I say Maseh the first time? Talking to the Google AI. What are you laughing about?
People are enjoying the dead air. People are enjoying. They
Yeah,
want to sit and bask in the dead air.
Probably Elio is enjoying
Sit and bask. No,
basking.
it's some guy, Menachem M.H. I'm not sure who that is. Menachem M.H. You have any idea who
Probably
that is?
Mendy Hertz.
Yeah. She just wants to bask in the dead air.
Basking in the dead air.
Okay, so Vicky Z1C2J just asked,
Yeah.
I just joined. How do I go about asking a question? Well, if you'd like to ask a question, you can email us at info@soulwords.org with your question with a summary of, and if we find it that it's as well as a pin to be able to call in, and that's how you join the Thursday Night Call-In Show. It's info@soulwords.org.
playing with
We
this.
just got another donation. Did we? No.
Are you watching the
Okay.
show? Seeing like the
On YouTube? Yeah. It's like fading.
Because I'm playing with. I'm trying to get the stupid picture uploaded, and all that's happening is I'm just messing with the
You
fader.
can do Media Player 1. Mm-hmm.
I can't even get.
Sit and bask in the dead air.
I can't even get the media uploaded. I don't know why.
Oh, okay, fine. So, okay. Vicky's saying your video and audio is going in and out. It looks good from our end, so maybe just check your internet connection. Make sure
No,
you're
it's
connected
because
to
I was
Wi-Fi.
playing with the fader.
Oh, and that affects the audio also? Okay, fine. Yeah, that was
Good.
the fader.
Yeah, I was playing
Sorry,
with
Vicky.
the fader. I was playing with the fader.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, yo, Premiere,
Okay.
take me out with the fader.
Oh, she missed how... I missed you answering how I can ask the question. So once more, you can email us at info@soulwords.org.
Yes.
info@soulwords.org with a brief summary of your question. Our team will read your question, see if it's an appropriate question for the call-in show. And it doesn't mean, when I say it's an appropriate question for the call-in show, we're not qualifying if your question's a good question or not.
Your
or not.
question
That's
could
not
be
what we're
awesome.
doing.
It's just not
Call-in
right for
shows
our
are very-
show. Your
Correct.
question
So
may be amazing.
don't take it offensive.
Don't be insulted.
That's right. So we're not judging how good or bad your question is, because every question is good. I don't know if that's a true statement, but every question is
Not
good.
all questions.
We're
are
just
good.
seeing.
Not all questions are good, but if your question is not selected, it doesn't mean
Okay.
that it wasn't good. No, there's two things that can be true.
Correct.
Not all questions are good, but if your question isn't selected, maybe it's not. That wasn't why it was rejected. It wasn't rejected because it wasn't good. In fact, I'll even go further than that and say sometimes we choose questions to be on the show that are not good. So don't think necessarily because you were chosen to be on the show, your question was good, and you were not chosen to be on the show, that your question wasn't good. Two separate things. The best questions were never even on the show. We have a whole separate set of emails for the questions that were so good, they were too good for our show.
Also, I want to. Vicky Z1C2J just said, understood. No offense will be taken if not asked. From the way that you wrote that, it sounds like you're under the impression that your question will be read and asked. I could be reading into this. Your question will be read and asked on the call-in show, and we'll answer.
That.
That's
People
not the
always
format here.
think that. That will never happen. Lean that
No.
here. No.
Well, it's happened before,
It happened before, and I'm ashamed.
but no, that's not the format of the Thursday night call-in show.
And I'm ashamed. And I carry deep shame that we conceded. Right. We made that. We followed the path of appeasement of Neville Chamberlain.
I think that those questions that you answered were probably very helpful to people who answer them. But yes, the format of the call-in show is in the name, call-in show.
Call into the call-in show, not email into the email show. Call into the call-in show, not email into the email show. Wah, 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 wah.
Yitzy7505, who has a crown with a number 3 next to his account. I don't know if that means it's like number 3 in the chat, but he says, the fader reminded me when Yisroel flickered either the sikha screen on and off, or maybe it was one of the letters. I remember vaguely. That's a pretty dedicated SoulWords listener right there.
Yeah.
That's a good callback.
Yeah.
And Vicky made sure to clarify I meant answered. So she understands the format. She's a pro here.
Okay, so she's calling in. I think it's.
I don't know. I don't know if she answered.
I think
Okay,
it's
we do have one more caller, actually. Let's see.
We do?
We do have one more caller, though. For tonight. Yeah.
Okay, put him on. Put him on. Let's do it.
Okay. Welcome, Malky, to the Colin Show. Welcome, Malky.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Hi.
Hey there. You're on the air.
Okay. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm going to pretend many people are not listening.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm not nervous.
Let's pretend.
Just you got to just be in the moment. Don't worry about anyone else. That's what I do. I just focus on person I'm talking to, or even if I'm
I really
appreciate just focus on myself. So just pretend there's no one here. Just okay. Yes. All right. What's
okay,
up?
we'll do that.
All right.
First of all, I really appreciate this platform. I always listen to your, the content that you put out, and I think you have a way of like simplifying very deep concepts and bringing so much clarity. So I really appreciate that. My question today is,
thank you.
And
by the way,
I know
aren't the callers on this show amazing?
They are, and they're so brave.
Yeah, they are. But I don't want to emphasize that right now because it's going to freak you out because you're already intimidated. So let's not talk about that. Okay, change the subject. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I know you speak a lot about sensitive souls, and I do identify as one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, in a marriage, when one person is a sensitive soul, everything is felt on a much deeper level, and the other is not. How do you navigate that?
Yeah. It's tough, So this whole sensitive soul thing, just for the people who are not caught up on it, it's something that I've been talking about for maybe a couple of years now. And it's hard to sum it up. There are other terms you might be familiar with that are similar, but I don't like to use those terms for various reasons. But basically, we're talking about people who kind of feel everything kind of deeply and often just feel that life itself is rather intense and therefore need a lot of downtime, processing time, that kind of stuff. Maybe it shows up in sensory issues or deep emotions or perfectionism or, a very vivid imagination or the need to escape, feelings of wanting to numb or distract oneself from reality because it's too intense. And anyways, that's the profile. And one of the things is that human interaction can become really hard. Not because we don't like people, but just because it's overwhelming to interact with them. And obviously, in a marriage, marriages generally entail two people interacting quite a bit. Some would even say that the person you marry is the person you're going to interact with the most in your entire life. So it can bring up issues. Where sometimes the partner of the sensitive soul feels ignored or doesn't feel like they're connecting the way that they think connection should happen. And the reverse also, sometimes the sensitive soul is feeling, it's just basically two people who speak very different languages as far as what they consider to be pleasant human interactions. And it can create a lot of strain. Yeah. So, without getting into particulars, I hesitate to say this because it's like you're identifying as the sensitive soul, and the advice I would give to the partner of the sensitive soul is I hesitate to give any advice that isn't for the person I'm speaking to. So, one of the rules I have for the Ami column is I get so many letters and they're always the editors are always answer that letter. It's a good letter. And I say, no, it's not a good letter. Why not? It's a good topic. I say, because if you'll read the letter, it's somebody complaining about somebody else's behavior. And I can't answer somebody who's a second party to the situation. In other words, I have a rule for my the Ami letters. I can only answer you if it's your issue, not if it's your spouse's issue, your brother-in-law's issue, your next-door neighbor's issue. So I hesitate.
Right, we're both listening to it now.
Oh, perfect.
We both want, like, how...
Perfect. Okay, so this part is for your husband. So one of the things is just to realize the power of silence and space. There may be potency in what you consider to be a lack of connection actually may be the deepest connection. I'm not trying to speak in poems and riddles. I'm telling you that for some intense people, like literally sitting in the same room with another human being, what I'm basically saying is, I said this so many times, I'm already getting sick of saying it because I'm getting bored of hearing myself saying it, and I feel like everyone else is bored of hearing me saying it, but I'll say it again. Win the trust of a stray cat. I did this personally a number of times. As of 3-4 years ago, I had never been near a cat. And then when we got the SoulWords house near the aisle, I saw these stray cats hanging around the house. And it took me a year, I won their confidence. And then once I learned how to like win the confidence of those stray cats, I started noticing stray cats everywhere. And I have one that lives on my porch here where I live, my actual house. Yeah, anyways, but the thing with cats, I love cats because they teach me so much. Cats are not like dogs. Dogs are like, they want to interact with you. They want to jump up on you. They want to slobber on you. Cats are like, dude, give me my space, please. This is way too, stop staring at me. You're looking at me way too intensely. The energy is really it's very overbearing. Please, can you give me space? So the thing is, when you're trying to win the trust of feral cats or stray cats, even though you mean to help them, you can't tell them that. They don't speak English. They don't speak any human language. So you can't say to them, hey, I'm here to help you. You can only communicate to them energetically. And the number one rule cats have about energetic communication is thou shalt not encroach. Do not get into my bubble. Don't freak me out. See, cats are interesting. They're very, very high, like they're wired very, very high strung. Like they have incredible reaction time. They have faster reaction time than snakes. That's why you go look on YouTube, snakes versus cats. The cats always catch the snake before the snake catches the cat. So they're very high strung. They'll like jump in the air if they hear a creak of a shoe stepping on a floorboard 3 rooms away. So they're a lot like sensitive people in that they're really like they're hypersensitive to stimuli and taking everything in. And because of that intensity, this is what it seems like to me, at least. I'm not a cat expert, but because of that intensity, they really don't want to get overwhelmed, and they get overwhelmed very easily. And that's why behavior that like a dog would put up with or even enjoy, a cat is going to be like, please, you're really overwhelming me. So when you win the trust of a feral cat or a stray cat, feral cat means they were born in the wild. Stray cat means, unfortunately, they were someone's pet that was thrown out in the street. Stray cats are easier to deal with because they were socialized at some point. But let's say a feral cat who never learned to trust humans, and you win their trust, and it takes a year before you can touch them. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you, I know I've spoken about this so many times, and I'm bored of speaking about it, but I should charge people like $10,000, call it feral cat therapy. And basically what you do is I put you in like a guest house in the backyard of the SoulWords house, and you have to get one of the feral cats to let you feed him from your hand. And it'll take you a year. But after you do it, you will learn energetic self-containment. You will learn subtlety. You will learn less is more. You will learn how to create a connection with someone without overloading their senses. So my advice to anyone who's married to a sensitive person is to learn the power of less is more, the power of subtlety, the power of self-containment, and understand that, like, for a cat to sit in the same room with you and hang out, it's not a dog. It's not going to run up to you and say, let's play fetch. For a cat to choose to lie down in a sunbeam in the same room as you means the cat thinks you're cool. Because I promise you, cats are not codependents. Dogs are codependents. Dogs will put up with stuff that they don't even like just to get you to like them. Cats will not put up with anything they don't like for even half a second. So if a cat doesn't want to be here, he's not going to be here. If a cat is relaxing and warming up in a sunbeam in the same room as you, it means they like you. That's a huge sign of you're cool. Because if I didn't think you were cool, trust me, I would go somewhere else. So if you're married to a sensitive soul, I would say, yeah, definitely do the cat experiment and learn the power of less is more and subtlety, learn about silence, learn about just being in the same space together. It can be incredibly bonding. It doesn't have to be with yapping. Sometimes that's like, oh my God, it's so painful. I'm all day forcing myself to talk to people. It's so miserable. All day long I have to talk to people because the way that 90% of the human beings are wired, if you don't talk to people, they think you don't like them. You know that the way that society is set up, the rules that are understood are people want to come see. If somebody came over to you and took food from your plate, right? We all know that that's inappropriate. If somebody came over, I don't know, put their hands in your pockets, we all know that's inappropriate. And yet in society, if people come over to you and say, how's the weather? Which is basically invasive. They're forcing themselves into your brain. You're not allowed to say, will you leave me alone about the weather? Get the weather app. You're not allowed to do that because that's considered rude. You actually have to converse with them about the weather, and it's painful, right? So imagine a sensitive soul. I'm out there all day humoring these nudniks, and then I come home and I got to schmooze some more. Oh my God, you're my safe person. I want to bond with you. I want to feel safe with you. That means you're the person I don't have to chit chat with. I don't have to schmooze. I don't have to do this stupid dance that the world does called talk about the weather and sports. So that would be my tip to the partner of the sensitive soul. I don't know if any of that resonates with your experience, if you're a different type of sensitive soul, but that would be general advice.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, for the sensitive soul, like, you do want to make your partner happy and they do want to chit chat or they do, like,
so,
actually, if we take this even deeper, like probably on every level, a sensitive soul has this feeling when they are together with someone that they're too much, right? I mean,
right.
Like, so like, you know, for sure, spiritually and emotionally, but it could even be in other ways too, like in life experiences or anything else. So you don't want to be so heavy on your partner. And I know this is where Hashem comes in because nobody, you know, like you always, that's where you direct when anything is too heavy. And that's really what it is. I've heard you discuss that, but like in the marriage, how do you navigate that feeling of not wanting to be too much, but also like, you want deeper, you want more, like there's both sides, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
I have an idea.
Yeah, go ahead.
You should do a paint night. This is just an idea. You can extrapolate it.
Paint night.
Actual thing, but you do a paint night with music in the background, but it gets better. You don't just paint like the same picture or paint random stuff next to each other. You set a timer. Every 10 minutes, you swap paintings. And you paint onto each other painting, add elements. And then when you get your painting back, you could see what your spouse added to it. And you can connect and bond that way. There's no talking. There's soft music in the background.
Are you saying because it's nonverbal?
I mean, you could extrapolate this into many other things. No, not only nonverbal, it's very low energy. Painting is very concentrated and quiet and, very low energy. Like you could be more flowing through it, like basking in the,
Yeah, I got to try that.
That way you have that way you have the connection, you have the bonding, but it's also not putting pressure.
Right, that's nice. I'm talking like also like day to day. That's like a beautiful way of connecting. I like that idea. But like in a day to day, like, you know, married for a while and like, how do you navigate that piece of like on one hand wanting more, the spouse that is more sensitive and want like feels deeper and like, you know, just needs more, and the other spouse that is, you know, at the same time wanting to make your spouse happy. So like you don't want to be that, you don't want to be too much, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, you're talking about something different right now. I want to just unpack this slowly. So normally what we're saying is the sensitive soul is the one getting overwhelmed. Saying like, I really just need my space and I need quiet. What you're speaking about now, I believe, please correct me, is the opposite thing, that there are certain ways in which the sensitive soul is the one who's too intense for the other partner. Is that what you're describing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because yeah, that's a very specific thing. So here's the thing. Sensitive souls, it's interesting, will get totally freaked out, overwhelmed, like circuits blown from stuff that most people think is super, super simple, easy, normal life, such as chit chat, you know, small talk. Okay. And then ironically will enjoy stuff that most normal people consider incredibly intense. So like it'll be like a sensitive soul will refuse to talk to you about how's the weather because that seems stupid, but will like say to a person, you know, that you just met 30 seconds ago, like, you know, what's the meaning of life? You know, or, you know, some other, you know, deep question, or like, or something really super intense, like, you know, when's the first time somebody close to you died? Like, oh my God, like, please, right? So you're describing the need that the sensitive soul has to have those intense interactions. See, it's very funny because, you know, I was speaking about before the sensitive soul being like this cat that needs to just be given a lot of space and not be overstimulated. But then there's ways in which the sensitive soul is the one who's overwhelming the other person. So my advice about that is, first of all, understand that at the end of the day, you may not get that from your spouse. You may only find some people, rare people, who are willing to match your intensity. But those are not people that you could run a successful home with. And you have to understand there are different relationships. You can't see part of like the problem with the way that the modern secular world views marriage is this notion that your spouse is somehow supposed to replace all other relationships, and that when they can't, inevitably can't live up to that, then there's something defective, God forbid. And what I'm saying is, your spouse doesn't have to be able to match your intensity. It's not.
But they have to be able to hold it, though, no? Like,
they have to be able to not judge you for it. They have to be able to not think you're a weirdo for it. So if you're a sensitive soul and you're married to someone who thinks you're a nerd or a weirdo or a dork, that's going to be a problem. that's going to be a problem. But if they're neutral about it and they're like, yeah, that's just the way you are. I'm not that way, but it's cool that you are, then that's fine. And even though you might feel like, well, no, I want you to match my energy. No, but maybe they can't. And just like they make accommodations to you to not harangue you about the weather, you're going to understand that not every deep, intense philosophical discussion has to be had with your spouse. You're going to have to learn that there are different languages for different contexts. And you can't expect, like an American, to be able to speak one language all the time to everyone. You have to know different languages. You cannot expect that everyone's going to speak your language and that you can speak your language to everyone. I said that's like being an American. Americans have this certain entitlement that they're going to be able to get by knowing one language. But that's not the way things work. It's interesting. In the Jewish community, saying, the Orthodox Jewish community, I would say there's a lot more multilingual. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. It appears to me that the rate of people being multilingual is way more than in the general population. And I think that is not just like a cultural advantage. I think it's an emotional advantage. That when you realize that you can't just speak to everyone the same way, like when you're forced to switch a language, because somebody comes up to you and starts speaking to you in another language other than your native tongue, and you're not flustered by that, and you realize that's just part of the day. In the course of a regular day in Brooklyn, you may speak 3 languages. That, I think, if you apply it to your relationships, I think that's a very, very important lesson. So you can be mad at someone that they don't understand you when you're speaking your language, or like the trope about the American tourist. He goes to another country, doesn't speak the language, speaks English to everyone, and when they don't understand, he just speaks it louder and slower. Right? You can do that and try to expect if you'll just speak louder and slower, someone else will be able to speak your language. When I'm saying a language, I don't mean that kind of language, but you know what I mean. You have to accept the fact that
I feel like a little bit, you do have to be able to speak the same language in order to connect. Obviously,
yeah, a few
words is enough.
It's going to have to be enough. In other words,
but in a marriage, you kind of wanted like a deeper connection.
No, you can't.
Maybe it might not be the person you like.
No. You're too intense with. If you want to connect, then you have to be ready to connect. So connection is not imposition. To say this is how I express myself and it's the only option I'm giving you for connecting is not really connecting. Connecting is a two-party. It's two people coming together equally. If you say we can only connect if we do it my way, that's not really connecting. That's saying I want to express myself and you be my audience.
So what would the ideal way? Right. So what would the ideal way be for
neutral
a
territory?
Couple that is
neutral territory. You have to find neutral territory. You have to find experience. I can't tell you what it is, but maybe it is painting night. But you were asking in more like day to day. But I'm saying there has to be an agreed upon. I don't know, Esperanto. You got to find an agreed upon way of communication. It is not your native style. It's not his native style. but you both agree that it's respectful. First and foremost, that it's respectful, and that you can say, well, respectful, that's not intimate. Yeah, but you can't have intimacy without respect. So first of all, first and foremost, it's respectful, meaning it's a way of speaking where both people feel safe. And then once you both feel safe, you can start to connect to each other in that language. And by language, I don't mean a language like, English, Spanish. I mean a way of talking, like tone, which subjects are fair game, an agreed upon sort of limit to how deep you go, a style of, do you communicate about things as they're happening or more after the fact? You learn the rules of communication. And when the rules of communication are safe enough that both party feels that they can be heard, even if they can't express. See, I want to give you the bitter pill, the sensitive soul bitter pill. The way that you want to unmask, I want to tell you something. Ultimately, no human being is going to be able to tolerate you in your full unmasked glory. That you should save for your relationship with Hashem. You want that you should be in your full unmasked glory with another human being, and then that should be the person that you're married to. And what I'm telling you is no human being can take it. Only your maker can take it. Everybody else just gets doses of you. They just get doses. Yes, you can be yourself to an extent in your marriage, but to be your full, unbridled self, no filter, completely raw, that's only between you and God. And with other human beings, you find a common language.
And how do you avoid resentment?
Yeah, but that's the thing. The great resentment of every sensitive soul is, it goes back to a lot of rejection sensitivity, because probably, if you're a sensitive soul, you have a lot of past history of being excluded, being the odd man out socially, being punished socially for not following the rules that you didn't know were rules. And so there's something very deeply painful about being judged or rejected, and not being allowed to be your full self feels like a rejection. And what I'm telling you is the maturity for a sensitive soul is realizing that you don't get to expect any human being to be able to tolerate the full, unfiltered version of yourself. There's nothing to resent. There's nothing. I don't know if you were on with the first caller, who was very, very profound. And she talking about these difficult pregnancies she had. She was like bedridden for the whole 9 months. And she said one of the life lessons she learned is that you can't rely on anyone or anything, only God. So, she was in a very intense experience that led her to that conclusion. But I want you to kind of think about it like that. The end of the day, the only relationship where you can
I already do.
Oh, perfect. So I want you to embrace that, and instead of saying, okay, fine, and being resigned to it, I want you to embrace it and say, how beautiful. How beautiful that I'm in a situation that forces me to seek out unique closeness with God, because that's the only relationship in which I can totally be myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful thing.
I just had this idea of marriage, like you're one, right? Like This is what Hashem wants, and we both. I mean, like it was a joint decision to make this call in terms of like in a general sense for the topic, but it applies to us. Like, the person that's not a sensitive soul understands that they're not like, that they don't fully understand you. Yeah. And the sensitive soul feels like they're too much in the sense of like how you were explaining, like in the day-to-day stuff, like that's too much for them, but like in the deeper stuff and the deeper vision or whatever. So,
and that's okay. We don't have to be our full unmasked self all the time, even with the person that we're closest with. And it's not a lack of closeness. It's a reality. If you want to be close with someone, find a common language. Once in a while, you'll teach him a few phrases from your language. He'll teach you a few phrases from his language. So when he says, "How was your day?" you'll actually tolerate it and have a polite conversation. "How was your day?" And he'll learn a few phrases from your language when you say to him, "I was thinking about what happens when we die." And you'll each know a few phrases. Then mostly you'll find a third language, a lingua franca of the home, so to speak.
mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it very bluntly, okay? It's an unreasonable and unfair expectation for a sensitive soul to think that marriage is the forum within which you're going to be able to completely unmask. It's unreasonable and it's unfair, and ultimately it's selfish, and it will only breed resentment.
Right. I don't even know if it's unmasking that I was looking for. I think both of us, like, we just want that, like, a deeper
Okay, so that if you
connection, which
sincerely
I
just
guess
want the
comes from
connection,
communication.
then it doesn't matter.
We need to make up
Then
our
it
own
doesn't
language.
have to be authentic. You have to pick what you want. You want to be your true self and not be understood? Or you want to actually connect and compromise on the way you present yourself? Sounds like you're saying you want the connection. Great. So when you want to connect, that means you have to speak in a way that's understood, not speak in the way that you speak in your own in your own head. To the contrary, nobody's stopping you. Learn a third language.
Right. I guess I was wondering what that third language would look like, but
I wish I knew.
It's very individual.
Yeah, it is very individual. But like I said, the way you feel it out is figuring out what feels respectful. When you both feel safe. Like probably when you're in his world, speaking in his language, you probably feel a little bit at a disadvantage, or a lot. And when he's in your world visiting and talking about the kind of stuff you like to talk about, he probably feels at a disadvantage. The third language, you'll feel it out, will be a communication style where neither of you feel at a disadvantage. And consequently, neither of you feels unsafe. You get what I'm saying? I wish I could be more specific, but those are the ground rules.
Mm-hmm.
You'll arrive at it through experimentation. And both of you should be open enough to say when it's drifting away from what you're capable of tolerating.
I hear. I'm definitely going to listen to this again. You said so many great points.
I would suggest, by the way, when you're feeling out, when you're creating the Esperanto for your family, for your marriage, a good sandbox for creating that language is speaking about values. And I'll tell you why. Because values are kind of abstract and philosophical, like the sensitive soul enjoys, but they're also kind of practical, like the regular spouse enjoys. Meaning values are only values if you live by them. So it's a little bit of best of both worlds, or it straddles those two worlds. It allows you to speak in the abstract and the concrete at the same time. You know what I mean by values?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Or like the
I
previous
guess
caller
that
was
would
talking
be
about
like
truth and kindness. Truth and kindness are both values.
That could be like the name for the language,
Yeah, maybe that even
the
is
third
that, yeah.
language.
Yeah. Or at least it's a good subject. You know, it's like when you learn a new language. So you learn how to say, "Where's the post office?" Right? There's certain phrases that are famous phrases to learn when you're learning a new language. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Right? So when you're learning this third language, some good phrases to learn will be speaking about values. Like, you know, what do we want our children to know are important ideals just from living in our home? You know, I don't know, could be hard work, could be hospitality, could be patience, faith. I don't know. But speaking about values is a good hybrid topic to find that third language, that common language. Yeah. You okay?
Yes, I'm processing.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, you can listen to the
I
recording.
guess I'm gonna listen to this again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, my pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. My pleasure. Okay. Be well. All righty. Tzlocha to you. Okay. All right. Yisroel. Getting toward the 3-hour mark. Getting a little bit tired. You want to do a fundraising pitch again?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up.
fundraising.
Okay, thank you so much for everyone. Oh, we got actually. Hold on, I don't know. We didn't get any. We got some donations, not to the Colin Show page. We currently have 48 people watching the Thursday Night Colin Show. I see you. 47 people. Someone just left. We have 47 people watching right now. And let me tell you something. The Thursday Night Colin Show team on charidy.com. That's charidy.com/RSD/call only has 7 donors. We have 19 donors in local Pacific team. So call
By
and
the
show
way,
people.
Yisroel, I'm from the back end.
Show
I'm
your
looking
support,
at
show your
YouTube
love.
right now.
Yeah.
There's been 573 people on all night. From the beginning till now, there's been 5. Right now, it's dwindled because it's late. There's only 48 people on. But over the entire evening, there's been 574 now, it says. 574 people.
Yeah. Hold on, did a donation just come in? I think a donation just came in. Hold on. No, not just now. Okay. Everyone that's watching, thank you for joining. Please show your support, show your love, show your appreciation by donating to, you want to put it in the chat, charity.com/RSD.
Yeah, I'll put it in, yeah.
If you want to donate to the Colin Show team, you can donate to charity.com/RSD/call. And let's get this team rolling. Let's do it. If you're watching live, please donate. If you're watching the playback, please donate. Your support means the world to us, so we can continue doing this amazing work, which you guys all love and cherish.
Yes.
So there you go. Yeah.
Okay, I'm tired.
And we look at every donation. Yeah. Okay. We look at every donation. If you guys want to write a cute comment with your donation, maybe a callback to a reference, that would be fun. We enjoy everything. We enjoy any amount. Every dollar counts. Every dollar builds up. So any amount is great. Any comment you post, we read them all. So we really appreciate all of them. So yeah, thank you in advance for your support, and thank you for enabling us to continue doing what we do.
Amazing. Okay. Thank you, Yisroel. I'm going to end the stream.
All right. Yeah, good night.
Okay, good night.
All right.